With 2023's draft officially behind us, let's look into our crystal balls and predict the outcome of the games we've drafted and some of the bigger games coming to us in 2023. Let's talk about Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 35, for the third week of January 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Z, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, the beautiful and lovely Birdman himself, Logan B. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? Not so lovely week for, it seems like, all of us. Been a very sick weekend, or sick week in general. I would say mine's more this weekend than everyone else, but other than that, I'm excited to get into some news. I would say probably my week this week has been okay. It's been all right. I got some interesting things I'll be giving out to catch up what I've been doing the last week. But other than that, I'm excited to get into it. So back to you, Mike.
Yeah, I've been feeling like absolute garbage. So if my voice cracks or anything, I'm sure the guys will make fun of me enough. So don't make fun of me out there. Gonna sit down and get through this, but yeah, overall pretty crappy. Been feeling on the poopy end of things. But I feel good enough today. Sit down, talk about some video games with my friends. Join us, Thorkage himself, DJK. What's up?
What's up? I think I'm feeling the best out of everyone, so go me. Yeah, I finally, after rebounding from feeling awful, yeah, I'm ready to hit it and hopefully nail a lot more of these predictions compared to last year.
And finally, joining us once again for the first time on the official XP podcast, he's joined us for the Fantasy Critics League, but now we're here predicting, so he's along once again with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage for the official first time here on the XP podcast, the pinball man himself, Worthy Morgan. What's up?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Not too good.
Not too good. Everybody else has been sick. I just had my wisdom tooth yanked out a few days ago, so I'm not too bad, but I haven't talked a whole bunch because it hurts to talk a whole bunch, but we'll see how this goes for it.
Well, the good news is you're not the host, so I have to talk a lot, so
Yeah.
Feel bad for me out there. All right, let's not beat around the bush. We got a big, long episode for you guys. We're going to try to keep it as quick and precise as we can out there, so let's not worry about it. Let's jump right into it. The question of the week this week, as is history, when DJ is on, he comes up with the question of the week. So take it away, sir.
Alrighty, it was if you had an Avatar level of budget, which I think was around $1 billion or pushing it, what movie would you make based on a video game? And your caveat was it can't be one in development, so no God of War, no.
So a little bit of correction there. Logan and I talked about it on one of the episodes. I forgot which one it was, but there seems to be some misleading going on. So when he announced how much the Avatar movie cost, I believe what he was talking about was $1 billion for all three movies that he shot or is shooting. Yeah. So it's not just this one cost $1 billion because that's astronomical. It doesn't cost that much, but this movie definitely was one of, if not the most expensive movie ever made.
I think
so. I kind of
said it was about $1/3 billion for each one or something like that.
Yeah. So I kind of went with the $300 to $400 million in terms
which is still an insane budget.
Which is still absolutely ridiculous when you're considering. I think both of the final Avengers movies cost like $200 million a piece, so it was like almost $500 million, which was like crazy to people back then. So I kind of settled on like the $350-400 million when I was like thinking about a budget. Now I'm not a filmmaker, so I have no clue how far I could take that 300 to 400, but I just kind of came up with two semi decently thought out ideas. So all right, We'll let you
All
go
right,
first since you're the head man.
I'll swing with mine. So after we were like nothing, that's been in development, I was like, man, what would I do? And I was thinking about it, and I think I would definitely redo Assassin's Creed because that left so much untapped potential because that one was so garbage because they were like, oh, the gamers will come out to see it, so we'll just kind of do this origin story half-assed, and then we'll be able to spin 3, 4, 5, 6 movies out of this. And then this one it did good, but it still was awful. So they're never, who knows if they'll ever make another one. So I figured I would either do Assassin's Creed, and then I have two other ones. Portal, I don't know if it would work as a movie or not. So then the other main one I was going to go with was Legend of Zelda because I think that needs a live action adaptation of some sort.
Live action. See, I thought. Oh, I think Legend of Zelda would be much better as like an animated movie. I don't know how
and it
good.
helps. I've been seeing somebody did digital art of Tom Holland as Link, and I kind
I
of like
saw
it,
that,
but at
yeah.
the same time, but yeah, I think either one of those two video game franchises definitely deserve a movie of some sort.
Well, my most thought out one, so like the one I most deeply thought about. With that amount of money, you can do a lot of cool things with, and I like long movies, so my movies go both of my ideas are going to be long movies. So, my favorite one is kind of like this, just fucking epically long, gritty realismist fantasy. So now when I say that, I mean like it's more akin to like Game of Thrones fantasy, where there's the dragons and other things like that, but it's shot and it's conceptualized in a more gritty, grounded way, and that would be for like something like Skyrim. And when I thought about that, I'd want to focus on the civil war between the two big cities in the game, and you could do like this super gritty, just war biop and epic set in the Skyrim world with your magical creatures and dragons and all that, but it's shot and it's filmed in like this more traditional like gritty-esque war film between the civil war that's going on. That was like my best idea that I could come up with. I think that'd be really, really cool, and it'd be a way to actually spend the money, because you have all the cinematography that you could pull off, the epic camera shots, the wide angles with all of the mythological creatures. You could have giants on screen, you could have dragons on screen, all the different people. But I think it would be really cool to shoot it in a more traditional war epic type of way. So that's like my favorite idea, I think. My second idea was to make this 2.5 hour mind fuck of a Bioshock movie. And I kind of got my ideas from like something like Shutter Island, where you just kind of can't believe what's going on, and you would get to have the budget of that really cool twist at the end. But I would want to do it in a way that it's just like a mind fuck of a movie when you're in oh god, what's the world? Why can't I think of this? Where are you in Bioshock?
Which one?
The first one.
Oh,
Logan, help me out
fired it
here.
up
What's
on PS4,
Dude,
and it's
honestly,
been a while.
what's the
I'm trying to
setting?
think of what it was called.
What's the setting for
It's
Bioshock?
It's obviously underwater.
Yeah,
I
but
don't remember the name of it though. That's the
Yeah, I don't
problem.
remember the name of it.
I was
Oh.
just telling Lena because I was.
we're fake ass
explaining it to
gamers
her.
here. Anyway,
Dude,
I don't remember the name of it. Hold on. I know what. I'm
I
just gonna
got this. No, keep going.
setting
I got this.
of
Google Rapture.
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 Oh, see, I was thinking of that. Yeah, so Rapture.
Yeah, so Rapture is obviously we all know is a fantastic one of the best video game settings of all time. And I think you could just do a lot with just kind of surprising people. It could even be you can even include quite a bit of like horror elements in there. Obviously, you don't want to make a 2.5 hour horror movie. People would leave the theaters after so long, but focus really on kind of the mind bending aspects of Rapture in that place. So those are the two ideas I came up with. I thought those are both cool ideas. In terms of budget, probably the Skyrim one is much easier to fill out that budget with how, long you'd want to make kind of like a war epic and all the different things you have to do. BioShock, it'd be kind of hard to stretch that budget, but so those are the best ideas I came up with. I thought they were cool.
All right.
I was like, I don't care who goes next. Someone else go.
Okay. Let's see here. That's difficult. I think what would be really badass in my opinion. And I mean, I know a certain actor has always wanted this to happen too. I guess now I can't say this because now I forgot they are actually making something for this. So I can't say Gears of War because I was going to say Gears of War, but they actually are making something on Netflix. So I can't use that anymore. And obviously I would have said Halo too, but well, sadly that also has a place in this world.
Yeah,
sadly.
but you can always reboot because like there's been Assassin's Creed, and I chose that because I think it needs to be redone. And it sounds like Gears of War is still in very early development and kind of development hell because I'm pretty sure they've had the rights to it for a handful of years. Just like I think Amazon has actually had the rights to do BioShock for a while, and that's kind of been in and out of limbo. So, I mean,
The one I really wanted to do was Mass Effect, but that's already being made, so I couldn't do that.
yeah.
Yeah, a huge fucking space opera movie for BioShock or for Mass Effect. Should be good, but I think they're making it into a TV show, because go figure.
I think the Metroid series would be good.
M-
Make it almost
Metroid
like
Metroid.
Halo 4.
I don't know why. I thought you were talking about Metro, and I was like, I mean, I don't know, but
Ooh, Metro would be pretty sick too, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I honestly think that'd be really cool. But
we got to get to that
I mean, I
budget.
guess my final answer would probably be Halo because it's a fantasy world, and I feel like if we're gonna go with like that kind of budget that like Avatar has, they could do some really cool stuff. Obviously, they need a good director and someone that actually knows what they're making. Maybe some like which we'll be getting to soon. Maybe pulling one of the people that helped like make the story for the original Halo games actually come on and help the director, kind of like a certain other show that just came out recently. Um, I would like to see a movie in Halo though. I think Halo would be a very awesome movie. They could pull it off very easily if they just had, people that actually knew what they were doing. And I mean, especially with Halo, the huge scope, the huge fantasy world, and all the lore and everything, I think they can make a very amazing movie. Like if I had to pick one, it would probably have to be Halo. Obviously, Gears of War would be really cool too, but I feel like Gears of War could be more smaller than what Halo could be. Like I don't know how crazy they can go with Gears of War. Like it would be cool. I obviously do, but if I had to pick, I'd probably pick Halo because it's got that huge world. They could really go crazy with that kind of budget and make something pretty much as amazing as Avatar.
Yeah,
So.
and you can have like amazing battle scenes too.
Mhm.
I think Halo worked well. Even when the TV show was coming out, I thought like a movie franchise, a series of movies seems to fit a little bit better for Halo than like a long drawn out TV show. Where TV shows have to slow down, it's a smaller scope, and I think something like Halo lends itself much better to a more quickly paced, obviously because it's a movie, but more like grandiose scale than like the small screen would fit. I think you gotta know what fits well. Like I think Uncharted would be a terrible TV show. I think Uncharted is much better as what it is, a pop culture, just like popcorn movie where you go on a treasure hunting adventure. Like that, to me, that doesn't sound like a great TV show, but as a movie, it can work really well because you're only spending a limited amount of time with things. So,
I think you're definitely right on that because they have the National Treasure TV show, and we only watched a couple episodes of it, and then we were kind of like, maybe I'll use it as a time killer sometime. But like, yeah, it was just it's taken too long to really get going for me, and it's like with some of that stuff, you have to jump into the action right away, kind of go based off one of my movie podcasts. This is where I got the idea because my movie podcast did the best and worst video game movies of all time. And I think with a lot of these, you need to take what they were calling the Indiana Jones approach, where you didn't get a lot of backstory. You got it here and there, but you just start and like he's on an adventure. Like you kind of need that. You can't really waste time with, especially if you want to do a franchise. Like you can't really waste time with, let's make a 2.5 hour movie and the first hour of it is the call to adventure. Like you kind
Yeah.
of have to be in the adventure and then give tidbits of what the call to adventure was throughout the movie to really, I think, form something good. But
I
we
mean,
don't
yeah.
make movies, so
I think Halo, just if you look at the first game, it's kind of set up fairly well for a movie, just in terms of narrative perspective. Like, you start, you have your amazing opening set piece action scene with them escaping the ship and crash landing on the Halo. You can spend the first hour or so of the movie after the opening set piece, kind of detailing out what a Halo is. There's this group of soldiers or a single soldier that is now tasked with having to save this pretty much the entire universe or galaxy or whatever by being on this, and he has to learn about the Halo and what it is through his actions, and then you as an audience would learn it through the character's growth. So you get to learn with the character, which is always some of the best storytelling that you can do. And then you can have your action set pieces set throughout the film. You have your library sequence where you run into the flood for the first time, and that can be set up for movies 2 and 3, etc. within this. And then you have your whole final confrontation where the universe is at stake and Master Chief's got to save the world. Like, I think it's set up narratively for a fantastic 2.5 hour epic space opera. I don't know. It just sounds right to me. So
Yeah, and there's like a lot of mystery too, like within this world. Like, what is this? Like, what is the Halo? Why does it exist? Like, the whole game, first game is literally just perfect for that. Like, they pretty much have it all set up. They could make a movie out of it pretty dang easily. Just don't get an actor that wants to show his dick on screen constantly. Like, can we just get someone that
I
actually,
know.
or showing have to show their face
His
because
his
they
dick
need
wasn't
to
on
have their
screen.
face on
His
screen.
ass was on screen. All right, his dick wasn't on
Oh,
screen.
sorry. Next
I think
season
that's
we'll
the
be
problem,
having
too.
more.
Yeah, next
is,
season starring role goes to John Bernthal's dick.
Yep.
I think that's a
God.
big problem too. Is like a lot of these games are, especially nowadays, are set up very cinematic. So it's like you literally just have to translate some of that to live action and give more depth to a story because obviously you're not going to have, if like for this Horizon one, you're not going to have, one episode of Aloy doing side quests for people. You're going to have her meeting with people and digging into the information of the past, stuff that's going to connect to now and stuff like that. Like you can't, like, that's, to me, that's what you have to figure out is filling in story for in between cinematics, and you literally could just recreate the cinematics and then fill in the like missing plot and stuff in between that. And
Now, credit to where
like,
credit's due. I think so far, PlayStation or Sony has made decent choices. I think Horizon works theoretically fairly well as a TV show, and so will God of War, just because it's a long journey you go on in the games, and it's not very like minimalized like some of the other stories. It's like Halo in its nature is a minimalized story. It's very point, place, and time. So that's why I think it works so good as it would work so good as a movie because you can kind of focus in on what you want to tell. I mean, obviously Horizon's an 80-hour plus game, so and then like what else they're doing? The Gran Turismo movie. By the way, did you guys see the little insider look? I'm getting weirdly excited for that movie. I think it's gonna be super cool.
it's based on the true story of the kid that was so good at playing it through a racing rig that Nissan hired him to be an actual driver.
Yeah.
Like, it's an insane story, and it's awesome that it's like video games translating to real life.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Worthy, what is your big budget video game movie?
Dead
Well,
Space.
I seen some of
That would be cool.
Dead Space is one of mine. I seen some of the they released like a little movie that was already animated and everything. I thought it was okay, but I think one that's actually live action would be better. I think Metroid would be a good one. I like more of the little bit of a horror aspect of stuff, though. Some of the horror aspect of video games.
Yeah. All right.
Here's some other ones I've thought of is, Red Dead Redemption.
Ooh, a nice long western. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You could even do the horror. You could do a second movie about the zombie expansion pack.
No, that would be
Yeah.
that'd be funny.
Yeah. And then, I thought maybe something like maybe Watch Dogs, because they do have some movies that's sort of like that. Doing a Watchdog one would be.
I could see Watch Dogs maybe more as a TV show.
Oh yeah,
I think
definitely.
that'd be kind of cool, like
Yeah.
for sure.
Watch Dogs definitely has a TV show feel, like a more crime, like futuristic crime drama. Definitely. All right.
I've always heard of everybody wanting to do a Far Cry movie or TV show.
I don't want any more Far Cry. I'm done.
What
I don't want.
you
any more
mean,
Far
dude?
Cry.
Far Cry
For
6
years.
got a Game of the Year edition. What are you
Yeah,
talking about, Mike?
Fuck off.
I think Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 might make good movies, but other than that, like, what are you gonna do? Far Cry Primal, the movie? Like, that was, yeah. Some of those might work. Some of those definitely.
They already did it. It's called 10,000 BC.
Yeah.
I'm joking, kind of, but also not. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast with Logan and myself, and this time DJ and Worthy sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week, so you can listen to it whenever you want. You can find us, as always, on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP Podcast, please go over to our Patreon and support us, where you get to be a part of our weekly discussion and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital PERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel where you can get this show and all of our shows in video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. New episode reminders for you. Up now is our 2023 draft, where we sat down and we drafted our initial rosters for our fantasy league this year. If you want to check it out, go check that out. Come back to this episode so you can hear what we think about what all those games are going to score. With all that out of the way, let's get into this week's show. In all points of the show, we are doing the first phase of this year's OpenCritic's prediction battle and find out exactly what we all think about the games we've drafted, how they will score, and what is going on the now infamous ratings aggregate site of OpenCritic. If we have time to get to it, we will get to it. In around the point, we say farewell to both Marvel's Avengers and Stadia. Xbox has a new showcase, and maybe, just maybe, one of DJ's predictions could be coming true before our very eyes. Stay tuned as always to find out, but before we get to all that, it's time for what is now and hopefully forever will be the rundown, where we catch up on all the things pop culture that we've been doing, whether it be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, or comics. It doesn't matter to us because we like it all and love to talk about it. So with all that out of the way, who wants to jump in first to the rundown?
I'll swing in there with the hammer of Thor. Let's see, a lot of movies, a lot of games too. I'm now 20 hours into God of War Ragnarok.
Yay!
Just I'm taking so many captures and screenshots. The scenery has been fantastic.
Hey,
the story has been amazing.
You can actually use photo mode now. We couldn't when we played it.
And I've been having so much fun with it. The story has just been, when I think this is gonna happen, I get like kind of spun over into this, and it's like I can't believe that just happened. And like some of the stretches of story I've been hitting is just wow. And it's been awesome. Also hit my first dub finally in Warzone. Like I was telling Worthy, and I think Logan was in here before we started. it was more I was a medic and a distraction for to eat bullets because
Oh, so you played Mike's role?
yeah,
Yeah.
I basically snuck and got money to buy back and get, mortar drops and UAVs, and my brother ended up with 13 kills. Our other partner ended up with 12, and I think I had like one or two. I had a lot of damage, but like it was, I'll go draw fire. You guys knock them off while they're busy trying to figure out where the heck I am and go from there. Me and my wife went crazy on the movies, especially the horror movies and thrillers. We watched Barbarian, which was pretty over the top. We watched The Menu, which was quite the thriller, especially when you figured out exactly what was going on. We watched Don't Worry, Darling the other day. That was what a twist. I think
I
there's
heard
another
mixed
movie.
things about that. Like there was all sorts of shit coming out about the
Well,
movie based on like behind the scenes of the movie and
yeah,
what went on during production. But I didn't hear great things about the actual movie
we were
itself.
trying to ignore some of that stuff that we heard and just kind of wanted to it like just ignoring that. And you kind of think you have the twist figured out, and then it was that, but in a more twisted way than what we thought was going to happen, and that made it worth it. And I thought it was good overall. The only other movie we watched was I didn't put on here, it was the last Triple X movie, Return of Xander Cage, because my wife loves the Triple X movies and the Fast and the Furious movies, so we couldn't find some of them to watch on streaming, and I didn't feel like breaking out the DVD book, so we just watched that. And then I watched the first episode of Last of Us and found a new card shop for myself. So that's been quite a busy week and a half or 2 weeks since we last talked.
Yeah, we'll talk about The Last of Us here in a moment once we all get through our stuff, since I think we've all seen it. Maybe Worthy, I don't know, he didn't write down any of his stuff.
Yep.
Slight jag. Yeah, I haven't played any games at all. I've been kind of taking a break. Uh, Not really, don't really know why. Just never really felt like sitting down and playing. I've been watching a lot of TV, a lot of one series in particular. So since we last talked, I have watched seasons 1, 2, 3, and about half of season 4 of The Rookie. It's a show I saw via the old TikTok and looked really good. So I started watching it, and I can't stop. But I'm gonna have to stop because I got games to play now. So, watched a couple. After Logan talked about, he watched The Dark Knight Returns. Jumped back into a couple of the animated movies. I rewatched Batman: The Long Halloween. It is fantastic. If you haven't seen it out there, it's a great read. It's now a great watch. And then I was looking around for one of the ones that I hadn't seen. So stumbled on Batman Gotham by Gaslight. This is a kind of Elseworld story, a different time period where Batman is in 1800s London, and he goes head to head with Jack the Ripper. That was actually surprisingly good. I usually have a good time. I usually have fun with the DC animated movies. Some of them, okay, well, I don't want to say that. Some of them are good. Some of them are pretty bad. But like the one Logan watched last week was really bad. So Injustice, it sucked. But other than that, said haven't really done too much. Did watch The Last of Us episode 1 like we all did, but we'll get to that in a second. Speaking of what we have been doing, Logan, looks like you've played the most games out of all of us here, so go ahead and walk us through what you've been doing, man.
So, I kind of put a little bit of a pause on Witcher, which probably isn't a smart move because I know how I am. That means who knows if I'll ever get back to it. I do want to get back to it. I do want to beat it. I'm still working at it, but I just know I have a lot of time to play that game, and so I found some games that are on sale, and I got Demon Souls, and it's pretty fun. I like it a lot. It's definitely very different. I mean, I kind of expected that, but it's kind of a lot different in some ways. Like the fact that everything you pick up weighs your character down. You don't get flasks anymore. You have to get these like leaves, which kind of sucks because if you get into a boss battle and you die, you don't get it back. So you either have to get some souls and buy some more, or go find and loot it from enemies. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty much Dark Souls, but before Dark Souls existed, because Demon Souls was first, and it was a PS3 exclusive at the time. So I am playing the PS5 remake at the time right now. It is insanely beautiful, very, very, very beautiful. Honestly, it's very impressive. Yeah, I mean, I've been playing it. I've defeated 3 bosses. I will say the first 2 bosses in the game are kind of easy, in my opinion. I don't know if it's because, again, I kind of had a lot of training from playing Elden Ring, but this game, the first 2 bosses are kind of lame. Like, the first boss you fight is just this gelatin creature with some shield dudes around it, and it's like insanely slow. So I just went up, stabbed it a bunch of times, backed away, went up, stabbed it a bunch of times, backed away. It was very easy. And then the second boss fight was against this big ass knight dude with the shield, and he's very slow. You just go up, you stab him a couple times, back away. Go up to him, stab him a couple times, back away. I beat both of them my first time, so they were pretty dang easy. Oh, I defeated 4 bosses actually. I forgot. The next one I beat was this like spider-like creature. That one was kind of a pain. Still beat it the first time. That was actually probably the most impressive boss fight I've had so far in the game. And then the next one was the I think it's like a demon king or whatever. That one was a little bit more difficult. Run into some problems where he kind of one shot me at the very end, and it was very annoying. And I got to like I almost defeated him like 4 times, and he got me in the last minute. Kind of sucked, but other than that, I mean, Demon Souls is pretty cool. It's really, really fun. It's definitely different to get used to, but I've actually been pretty addicted to it. Kind of getting those Elden Ring vibes again. So it's kind of fun just exploring and leveling up my character. But I also picked up another game I haven't started playing yet. It's a certain game that Mike will never let me borrow. So I just ended up picking it up on sale, and that's Returnal. So I will be playing Returnal 2 probably very soon. I'm very excited to play that game. Heard nothing but good things about it. So hopefully I'll get to that pretty soon. But other than that, not much to say, but I just want to say I play some Call of Duty. If you probably heard me over a million times, I like the game. It's fun. There's not really much new I could say other than I hope season 2 brings new maps, not remade maps, new maps. Because not gonna lie, first season kind of sucks. Like, oh, here's shipment. Wow, haven't seen that before. Oh, here's shoot house. Wow, never seen that before. Like, I just kind of want some new stuff. And I feel like the first season, I think that's why a lot of people are angry, because it's nothing new. We literally just got remade maps. That's all we got the first season. So I'm hoping second season we actually get some new stuff. But other than that, which by the way, I guess slight news, Call of Duty Season 2 did get pushed back a little bit. I think it was supposed to be at the beginning of February, but it got pushed back like I think like a week. So I'm excited for it. I'm interested. Mike will probably not even get to play Warzone before they switch it back to 1v1, which, by the way, Mike, Warzone isn't going to do the 2v2. They're switching a lot of things in Warzone. So by the time you probably play the game, you're not even going to be playing what we played in Warzone 2. But other than that,
That's fine.
more,
I didn't like the
yeah.
idea of the new gulag anyway.
Yeah, no,
so.
TV2 sucks. Honestly, it's a good thing they're getting rid of it, because it's just the fact that putting you with a random and it's 2v2, if the other player with you sucks, then it's always 1v2. So it's basically not a good idea in my opinion. So,
plus if you last long enough to face the jailer on top of it.
Yeah, that really, really sucks. So I'm kind of happy they're doing this. I hope they don't make the loadouts cheaper, because I think that's a dumb idea. I kind of like that it's not so meta driven, but that's again up to the developers, and if they want to succumb to the amazing Twitch streamers but not the players, because I know how Call of Duty is. They always want to make those streamers happy, not the players. So I hope they don't make the loadouts cheaper. I hope they keep it where it is, make it very expensive. But if you do want to get it and you have enough money, then buy the loadout. Because I don't want loadouts to be cheap again. I think that's just such a bad idea. Basically meta royale at that point, and I hate that. So kind of hope they don't do that. But other than that, I've been playing Pokemon Scarlet. Again, it's very fun. I didn't really play it a lot. I only played it one night. I played it for like 3 or 4 hours, I think. It's fun. I really like it. And as I said before, if I had to rate it, it's definitely not getting more than a 6 out of 10, maybe even a 5, because it still runs like hot garbage. Um, but other than that, it's fun. I mean, I've been having fun. Amy's like really far in the game. I think she actually beat all the gyms already, so she's been playing a lot of that. Other than that, yeah, Last of Us TV show. We'll be getting to that very soon. I'm very excited to talk about it.
Mr. Worthy Morgan.
Yeah. Well, last time I was on here, I haven't. I've done. I played a lot of the God of War. I'm up to 50. I think 52% of the game completed, and mostly what I've been doing is really working on my big collection of football cards. I've stepped away from games for a week to sit down and get all that organized and done. And been when I've been doing with my tooth, I haven't done anything really too much, and haven't watched really anything. The only thing I've watched is The Last of Us. Made sure we watched that, which we'll get into that later. And I've been helping with Jenna's basketball team, which is basically taking up the rest of my free time for anything.
I was gonna ask how the games go this past week.
First game they played, they lost 18-4.
Well, that was
Then
a high scoring basketball game.
Mhm. Then the last game yesterday they played, they won. What was it? It was 12-0.
Jeez, oh my god.
So,
I
but
guess. Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe
she.
maybe I forgot what introductory basketball looks like. It's been a while since I've played it. So
Oh, it's trying to just pull out my hair. Really, I can't get through her head when her team has the ball. She goes up there and boxes the other team out, so her team can dribble. And I can't get it through her head. Just get open to try to catch the ball.
let me ask you a question. So DJ and I both know you fairly well. What do you think is gonna have you turn gray first? Watching the Rams or watching your kids play sports?
Probably watching my kids play sports.
uh, that's funny.
The thing,
I can't even imagine because I've been with you watching the Rams play, and it is stressful for me to watch. So
it's stressful on my dad too.
You are keeping the swearing to a minimum on the sidelines, though, right?
Oh, I haven't sweared at all.
Wow. You know what? Good for you, man. Way to work on character growth there.
That's where my hair is coming. I'm having more gray hair because of it.
I still getting sidetracked a little bit. I still remember one game I played in high school. I should have broken the record for the most rushing yards in a game, but a ref called a stupid penalty, and I'll never remember or forget watching my dad chase the refs off the field at the end of the game. I thought my dad was going to get arrested. But you love it. Sports out there are fantastic, unless you don't want to play them. Then I guess they're not fantastic. But all right, if that's all you got for us, man.
I got a brand new phone. That's my
Oh,
technology.
What'd you
I
get?
got that yesterday. A Google Pixel 7
Perfect.
Pro.
Way to not succumb to the Appleites out there.
Oh, I can't stand Apple. I won't buy Apple.
Oh, the Appleites. We have one on the show. Did you know that, Worthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that my messages are blue, okay? Get out of here.
See, I don't even know what that means. Nothing happens on my apps.
Weird.
The
weird
thing
flex,
is
but
that it's
okay.
annoying, dude, because iMessage, dude, is very useful, and I love iMessage, and you can't get that on any Android phone at all.
Well,
So
yeah.
that's why
Blame
I like
Apple, not
iMessage.
Android.
Yeah, well,
blame.
Android doesn't have that, so that's why I like Apple. Plus, also, I'm already super deep in the Apple ecosystem that it's just not worth getting out of it.
People
So,
always say, "Oh, I hate seeing green messages." I'm like, I don't know what that fucking means because don't matter.
because when you make group chats and you try to do stuff and an Android person joins in, that it turns all the messages green and you can't do the things that you could do on iMessage. iMessage is faster. It works a lot better than Android normal SMS messaging. You know, get with the times, Android. It's now iMessage. But I mean, I guess they can't really do
I'll
that
just
because they're
use
two different
Facebook
ecosystems.
Messenger like a grown up.
See, I don't like do Messenger is an old person thing. I'm sorry. Let's be honest here. A Messenger is an old person thing now. I'm sorry to say so. It is old person. Oh shit, there's a dog attacking me.
I don't know.
I mean, I am like 5 years older than you, so it makes sense.
I've heard this
Yeah.
argument. I don't know what more I could do with my Messenger than. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do out there. You know, fucking solve quadratic equations on your messaging app.
It's just basically like, so Messenger is a separate app that you have to have. iMessage is built into the phone. So it's like you basically already have Messenger on your phone without having to have another app. And there's a lot of cool things you could do with iMessage. Like, again, you could play games with people, which I guess that's a minor plus. But it's also just easier to send things back and forth. It's more instant. It basically is, Messenger, but you don't have to download a Messenger app. So that's why I like it.
Well,
I know we're getting a bit of a tangent, people. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're
This
good.
is not anything video game news.
Agree to disagree. All right. Well, let's jump into it. We have all.
By the way, can I throw in real quick? I love Google Pixel. If I didn't have an iPhone, I would be getting a Google Pixel. Just want to say, I think Google Pixel is by far easily my second favorite phone that I would probably get because it's super cool, the Google Pixel. So I'll throw that out there.
I have a Pixel. I've been a Pixel boy for quite a few years now. Probably will never leave. My only thing is Google does a little bit of the Apple stuff and they lock down things randomly. Like I can't cast from my phone to any device. It has to be a Google device, which is really dumb. And I hate that. I hate when companies limit my ability to do things just based off software. I think that's stupid. Things should always be open, no matter what you have. But whatever. I'm not going to get into the deep weeds of my hate for the Appleites out there.
So far, it's okay. I'm just not used to. I'm used to having with the Galaxy I had with the back button, and then I could bring up all my past stuff. I'm not quite got that down yet.
Turn on swipe motion. Once you get good at swipe motion, I've never gone back. But anyway, all right.
Oh, with texting? Yeah, that's where it's at.
No, I'm just talking about like normal operation. Like for me to go back, I just swipe my finger on my phone and it goes back. It makes navigating mind-blowingly simple. But anyway,
that's fair.
Let's jump into it real quick. Well, not doesn't have to be quick, but so we've all sat down and we've watched The Last of Us episode 1. I just want to take a quick second to get our initial reactions, and I just have to say they did it. Like from my reaction to the first episode, I wasn't really as blown away probably as somebody else was because I was expecting it to be really good. But I am very happy to report from my end, from my deep-seated fandom of The Last of Us. If the rest of the season is like this, my hat's off to them. They pulled off a tightrope to walk with presenting us a story that we all know, but also presenting it in different, taking liberties here and there, but also just giving us more of the story that they weren't able to tell in the game. I think so far from my takeaway from the first episode, that's the most impressive thing. They've detailed out some aspects of it. They changed some plot points here and there to make to give the characters more urgency within the context of a show instead of a game. But overall, this first episode was super impressive. It looks incredible. The performances by both Joel and Ellie's actor and actress so far are really good. I still don't think Ellie looks right, but once I saw her acting, I was like, okay, she acts like Ellie. She's trying to personify what that character was to all of us out there. Still think she looks a little funky, but that's neither here nor there. As long as the performance is good, that's all I care about. But a big shout out to the lady who's playing Tess. So far, she has done a very nuanced performance with what that character is, and a very grounded performance. And I think she's the emotional core behind the first episode so far. But yeah, so DJ's the only one who hasn't played the game. I think Worthy, you've played it, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So DJ, you're
I've-
the only one out of us that hasn't played the Last of Us game. So I want to turn to you next and see what you had to think about something that you've never experienced before.
Honestly, like after watching it, like Lena was in and out of it. I was like enthralled. I told her, I was like, because I think I can get can I get part 1 for free now? Because I have
You
the
can't get part 1. You can get the remastered version. Part 1
Okay,
is still paid.
good enough. Like I told her, I was like, after God of War is done, I'm probably gonna go right into playing this. Unless I have Hogwarts Legacy, which I might not have at that point yet. But like I told her, like I'm probably gonna go right into playing that. It's like I'm enthralled just seeing people raving, hearing you kind of like it's perfect, like as perfect as it could be, and just some of that is just after only one episode, it's like, oh man, and it just I'm interested to see what's going on. I love the way it started. I love how they were, you know, epidemics will pick up more, and just the way that hit after it being the last 3 or 4 years that we've had in real life. It's like, man, and then for them to be like, well, we don't got to worry about that because fungus refuses or hasn't evolved into being
my
able
God.
to live inside the human body, and
The-
it was just like
The cold
What?
opening, because that's not a part of the game at all.
I didn't think so, but that was just like, what?
The cold opening, it's a very simple thing, but it explains the setup for the game so well, and it
Yeah.
makes it like I've always said. I've said this for years, ever since the game came out. This game presents us with the story, I guess now, it's not just a game. This story and this world presents us with the most realistic interpretation of what a zombie apocalypse could be, or a fungal apocalypse could be. Because it's something that exists in our actual world. Like the cordyceps fungus exists in the real world. And it's.
And that's most likely how a zombie type apocalypse would happen, would to be this exact scenario. And it was just like, what? And my favorite thing seen from all the people that have played it, that their only like complaint, if you want to call it that, was Joel didn't die or come near the amount of death during the opening like scenes that they played in the game. Because like obviously as them playing the game, they died a bunch more than obviously he's going to in the series. But it was just funny that they're like, yeah, he didn't die 10 or 15 times like I did when I played, so I'm gonna have to mark it down to 4.9 stars instead of 5. And it's just seeing some of those reviews made me giggle, and like, yeah, I definitely need to sit down and play this once I'm done with Ragnarok.
Mr. Logan.
I think the thing that I was amazed about is no matter what, when anything is adapted from a video game nowadays, I don't care, even if they have the director itself with it, I never believe it's always going to be just perfection. Like I always basically bring my my hopes down before I watch it, because I've seen Halo.
Yeah.
I've seen some other things out there. I mean, I didn't really have my hopes up for Halo, but
Well, you go into it with your skepticism higher. Because it's something that you care about, so obviously.
Yeah, and I like this game. I mean, I played it literally last year when part 1 came out. As I told Mike, with the most games, it seems like I just kind of wait till they get remade and I go to beat them. So that's I beat it, and this is cool because this is my first time ever experiencing something kind of like this, where it's like it's almost like for people when they read a book and then they come out with a movie for the book, and it happens to be a really good like movie or adaptation to it, because then you're like, oh yeah, that scene, like that's the same dialogue from the game from this part. Like the entire time I was watching it and Navy was sitting with me, I'm like, this is exactly the same thing they said in the game. I was like, this is literally exact line from line. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah. I sell hardcore drugs. I smiled heavily at that.
There's so many scenes where they just do one for one. I really personally especially like how they introduce Marlene. and with Joel, because I kind of prefer how they did that in this show than they did in the game. Not going to spoil anything. I'm just trying to say it's different how they do that, and I kind of prefer it because it seems more natural. But I gotta walk around, I gotta kind of not say anything or spoil anything. But obviously, if you play the game, you kind of know what's gonna happen. Obviously DJ has not played the game, so I'm not gonna say anything. But I am very excited for the rest of this. Not excited for season 2, uh, but I am very excited for this season. And I mean, so far, first episode, they nailed it. A lot of the designs, a lot of the way they do things. I especially kind of like the new things they added, especially that cold opening. I kind of like that they are kind of making it more accessible to the general public, and they're really adding some cool things that kind of draw out the characters a little bit more than what the game kind of did. Like especially the whole beginning thing with his daughter. That's different. And I like how they introduced the infected. Dude, that was Amy was freaking creeped out by the old lady.
The fucking
Oh
old
man.
Why are old people so fucking creepy?
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
just
that
throwing that
part,
out
I was
there.
like, damn, like this is kind of creepy. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is cool.
In the way
And especially when they first show the clicker and the bottom area. Oh man, dude, that was beautiful. I also recognize that that's the same dude that made that was the same person that made Vecna and Stranger Things and some other things. Like, dude, that dude knows what he's doing. And especially, I already knew that this was going to be shot very well because if you watch Chernobyl, you already know that this is going to be perfect. Because that dude, Chernobyl, was beautiful. The way they shot that, it was amazing. So I had high hopes already that the whole cinematography for this is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, the same director of for the same DOP director for photography that did Chernobyl is working with this show. Obviously, the same creator that did Chernobyl is working with this show. But yeah, that shot you get at the end of the episode where it pulls out and you see the whole of Boston. Oh, chills.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait for the episode tonight. I'm unbelievably excited. I think Amy's really liking this. It's gonna be really cool to see her reaction to this whole story because she's never gonna play the game. But this is gonna be great because I kind of like this. I don't know. I love this. I love that we're getting video games put into these TV shows. Especially, I hope a lot of people that are making video game based stuff really look at this show and see that if you stick to what they made and actually keep it damn close to what the game is, people love that. You don't need to make your own original thing from the game.
Yeah.
Keep it to way it is because people love this already. I mean, it's obviously doing insanely well, not with the critics, but also the audience score with a 99 on freaking critics and 96 with the audience. Like, come on. You know this is a hit. So just stick to that. Do what the games already have as a story and make it a show. Obviously you got to cut out some of the video gamey parts of the game, but like you have a story there. So with all these things, I hope all of them look at the show and they're like, see, if you just follow what the game had, people will love that. And you could still add things. Like they added stuff to this, but they still kept it insanely close to what the game did. And I like it a lot, and I'm really excited to watch this. I'm excited to see Amy's reaction because, again, she's never played the game, so it's going to be interesting to see her point of view and hear what she thinks about the story because I'm very excited for her to see the entire rest of the season. I'm especially excited for this episode because this episode is where things are going to get really good. First episode is always a slow one, but I still think it was amazing. I love it. I can't wait till we start to see more of the infected and more of the monsters. But I especially, Mike, this isn't gonna ruin anything. I can't wait to see the underground part. Oh man, I'm so excited for that part.
The school,
yeah. I'm so excited for that, man. It's gonna be.
I'm so excited to just watch and listen to DJ's response because I said this is a just phenomenal story told. No matter how it's told, as long as it's done in the right way, which it appears like it's going to be. So One thing that's cool, like you said, they're still presenting the story in the same format, but detailing out. Episode 3, I've gotten wind, not me personally, like it's out there if you want to read it, but it's going to be focused almost solely on the character of Bill and detailing out all his interactions with Frank. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but like, and what goes on with that relationship in the game. Um, and I always thought Bill is a super interesting character that didn't get a huge spotlight in the game just because we had to move on. So the fact that we're getting almost a whole episode detailing his story out and then leading up to his run-in with Joel and Ellie. Yeah, I just can't wait. We're getting 9 episodes. And even if they're shorter than this first one, that's like 11 something hours. So like they got
Yeah, I think no matter what, it's gonna be like hour episodes from now on.
Yeah.
And I think that's great because that gives them plenty of time. You know, hey Disney, you listening? Make longer episodes. Yeah, I know. It's a little difficult, but you know, like this is great. I'm very excited. I can't wait to not only hear. I can't wait for my opinion and seeing how it is, and also just hearing the General Republic or General Republic, general
Star
audience,
Wars.
General Republic. No, the general audience hearing their opinion on this because this is just cool that we're able to give this story out to more people. And again, this is something I hope that a lot more people that are adapting video games to TV or movies start to really follow through with this and see that you don't really need to change things. You don't need to make it your own. You can add things to make it your own. You can add more story to it. You could add things that draw out some of the characters that you don't get to see in the games, but like just keep it the way it is. Keep the story how it is. Keep the characters how they are in the game. You don't need to change the characters in any way or form. You could draw out their characters. You can add more story to them, but don't change them. You know, like don't be like Halo. I don't need to see his face. I don't need to see his butt. I don't need to see that he's in love with the enemy and has sex with her and then gets depressed and can't kill the Covenant because he's too sad.
Well, I guess there's no reason for me to watch Halo now, so.
Yeah, I hope no one does.
Hey, you know
'cause
what?
I don't even know why there's a season 2 coming out. It makes me disgusted to see that there's a season 2 coming for that show.
I can't wait to see Master Chief's dick in season 2. That's what I'm really excited
That's
about.
what we're all hoping for.
All right.
Woo.
Mr. Worthy, what'd you think of episode 1, man?
Oh, I thought it was phenomenal. It went good with the story, how it should. I had, some of my issues with it was the same as your guys's. I didn't like the casting of Ellie, but I liked how she acted in it, and it's basically what it is. Brittany watched it with me too, and she really really liked it. She's heard bits and parts of the whole story. I've had her watch a few things, and I told her some of it before the series even came out, and she thoroughly likes it and is excited. We're probably gonna sit down and watch it tonight, the second episode. And I like the direction they're going, and I do also hope that the video game people do look at this and try to keep it as that because they don't need to change everything they do. Change in a movie or TV show they do for a video game. It's really I don't see why they have the story into the game. They have the story for the game, but they just change stuff in it that don't need to be changed.
Yeah, it's like if, they were adapting Harry Potter again and, like, they had Harry, turn into the villain. Whatever, I don't know. But, like, people make dumb decisions out there. They, like Logan said, they think they need to make it their own, where all we want is something that details out and represents what we love in a passionate and profound way. Before we move on, I did want to get DJ's reaction to the opening segment. It's a very pivotal moment of the game. I don't really spoil it. I don't spoil The Last of Us for anybody that I talk to ever. But I am going to talk about it. So if you haven't seen the game, watch the show, bump on out for the next 5 or so minutes and then come on back or mute us or whatever. So at the very beginning of the game, you get the setup for the world state, and then you get what I can only describe as one of the most impactful deaths I've ever seen in Medium, with the death of Joel's daughter, Sarah. And it hit me. It hits me every single time I play the game. I've played the game 4 times now. It hit me once again. I just wanted to get DJ's immediate reaction. Maybe he knew about it, maybe he didn't. I don't know how much he knows about the story of The Last of Us, but how hard did Sarah's death hit you? And by the way, it was acted and filmed fucking perfectly. So
I had seen just through memes, stuff that, because I didn't watch it until Wednesday, I think. So I had seen some memes. I had been trying to avoid stuff, but I didn't know how it was gonna happen or when. I just knew it was gonna happen in that episode at some point, but like it was like wow, and it perfectly encapsulates like stuff that people go through now, where like there's a big pandemic thing going on. He radios to his boss, like he's pleading. He's like, no, she's not infected. She hasn't been touched by, like, she hurt her ankle, like trying to explain, remain calm and stuff, and just be like, hey, like we got hit by a car, we rolled this, that, and the other. Like, we're not infected, but she's messed up. That's why I'm carrying her. Like, and then when that guy just freaks out and just no, and just gets trigger happy, and it's like, it was just like, damn, just to watch like him. You could see him breaking, and then when you flash forward towards the end,
what's crazy, I was gonna stop you. What's crazy is he's actually way more remorseful in the game than he is in the show. In the game, like he tells his commanding officer, you hear him say, he's like, "Sir,
That's a kid. Yeah.
there's a little girl," and then
I was
you
waiting for that.
yeah, and then you just he slowly raises his gun. He's a lot more. I mean, he's adamant about it, but he seems a lot more fine with it in the show than he was in the game. In the game, he's like, I don't want to be doing this, but he does follow orders in both the interpretations of it. But
just that when you have that flash forward and he gets thrown in that situation again, and he's like, this isn't happening to me again. I'm not about to witness this happen 2 times in my lifetime, which is saying a lot, because he's obviously, it's been 20 years and he's been through some shit, you can tell. Like, and then he just like snaps and just starts bashing that dude, especially because like they kind of had a buddy system because he is feeding them drugs and this and that, and it's like just unleashes fury on him, and it was like, wow.
And all that's new, so you don't know that in the game you run into that soldier, you don't have any background on him. But I think one thing that they did that was so just amazing is they mirrored those two things with Joel's first death of, well, I guess the grandma, first kill, sorry, Joel's first kill of the grandma, where Sarah was like shocked and just bewildered about what happened. And when the camera cuts to Ellie, when Joel's just beating the fucking shit out of that guy, she enjoys it. She has a little smirk on her face, and she feels pride that someone is protecting her in that way. And that's totally new to the show. You don't really get that in the game. So I thought that was a really interesting little juxtaposition they had between Joel and Sarah, because that is a huge juxtaposition in the game, is his relationship with the two young girls in his lifetime. And I thought when the camera cut to her and she looked, at least to me, it looked like she was enjoying it in a way, someone protecting her in that way and willing to go to the lengths that Joel did in that scene. Even though I don't really think it was for Ellie per se, he just, as you said, unleashed kind of his vengeance upon him. I thought that was a really interesting little character turn, a little more detail of both the characters. So
yeah, that was definitely, and too, like you said, like, because like right before, the split second before that, it was where you find out that like she's been infected for how long already, and she's fine. So it's like, obviously I need to get her to this place. Like, it's important, like that way we can stop living like this and get shit back to normal. So it's like, yes, and then that situation arises and he's like, nah, I'm nope, like gloves are coming off. And then like you said, yeah, it pans over to her and like her and Tess are like in shock for like a second that he's doing this, but then like Elle is definitely like, oh damn, like yes. Like it's just I couldn't help but think of some of the memes of like just like the head shaking yes Jack Nicholson from I think it's from Anger Management, where it's just like that creepy yes
Yeah.
face, like
Yeah.
bash his face and like it's like oh my god, like it's pretty hardcore. And then like I get what people were saying because um there's been two different people for L now because it was Elliot Page, Ellen Page at the time, but Elliot Page originally, right?
Well, I mean, she was never tapped to play it. That's what.
Well, no, I'm saying in the game because they did mocap for most of the games.
No. So yeah, it was all Ashley Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Real quick, side tangent before we move on. The lady who plays Marlene, a little cool story. She originally, auditioned for the role of Marlene in the game. So she originally
I could
wanted.
have sworn she was.
No,
Because I thought,
no.
are you sure?
Laura Bailey, I think, is no. Laura Bailey plays the character in the second game. No, she auditioned for the role, but she never got it.
Awkward silence.
Sorry, I'm looking this up because I could have sworn I looked it up the other day and it was literally the same lady.
And like I heard people dogging the like, and even you guys kind of just people weren't huge on the casting for L, but I think a lot of it is HBO finds a pool of talent or a pool of young talent and they try to milk a lot out of them because
That
L
is the
was
same lady.
actually
Okay,
L
you're right.
was-
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm about to say, like, I literally looked this up when we were watching because I'm like, that girl sounds exactly the same. And also, I watched the after part where she was talking about how she did voice, and I'm like, wait a minute, so it actually is her because she looks damn close to the mocap version of her too. So,
Yeah.
sorry,
My
I didn't
bad.
mean to cut you off like
No, you're
that.
good.
I just
No, you're
wanted
good.
to get that out there because that was cool.
Because
Misinformation.
L, much like Joel, were both in Game of Thrones. Obviously at different times and the characters never met, but
That's funny.
I think it's just a pattern that, you know, they find these because she plays young Lyanna Stark. She's not a Stark, she's whatever from Bear Island, but like
Yeah.
she crushed it in that as an even younger child. So like to have her come back and I mean, yeah, it's just short of having the actual actor play that character, like you're not gonna have an exact match. Like and like you're gonna have that through everything. Like, yeah, they did mocap and stuff for God of War, but Christopher Judge doesn't look 100% like Kratos, but that's because before he voiced and more or less acted Kratos, like they had somebody else doing it and they had a character design beforehand because when God of War first came out, they didn't have all that kind of technology really as far as for making video games. So like you can like casting's not always going to
Well,
be
it might
perfect.
also it might also be that Christopher Judge is black and Kratos is not. Don't know, but I'm just saying.
I mean,
That's a joke.
Kratos is white because he's got the ash of his family sewn into his skin. So
Well, he was white
Whoa,
beforehand.
spoiler! I'm just kidding.
He was white beforehand.
he's Greek. There's a difference.
Oh
That's
my
not
god.
white.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, The Last of Us so far after episode 1 is absolutely incredible. If you haven't gotten a chance to play the game, to check out this, what I think is one of the better stories told in our medium and in just pop culture in general in the past decade and a half. Sit down out there, go check it out. Come back, listen to what we have to say each and every week about the episodes. If everyone is okay now, let's get into the big meat of this episode.
Can I throw one more thing in there?
Sure, why not?
Sure. I forgot to add one more thing to what I did this week. And if you're a Star Wars fan,
I don't care.
Well, I don't care about you, Mike. Okay. No, I've been watching a show that came out a while ago, but they came out the new season as of recently. It's called Bad Batch. If you like Clone Wars in any way or form, especially that art style, I think personally you'll really, really like Bad Batch. I've been watching season 2, and dude, it's amazing. Very, very good. If you do like that style, I especially like Bad Batch because it touches on the whole clones after, the Clone Wars and everything. I think it's very interesting and it tells a lot of story about, what's happening with the Republic. And it's more like pretty much directly after episode 3 than it is like a lot of the other stuff, which is like really far in. Especially the third episode of season 2 is probably the coolest animated episode I've ever seen of Star Wars, ever. And I 100% mean that. It is the coolest episode I've ever seen in any animated stuff of Star Wars. It's awesome. Again, if you haven't watched Bad Batch, I highly recommend it. I do admit one character in the first season that you get introduced to, she's a bit much. But when you get to like the more and more you watch it, the better she gets, and she kind of grows on you. And season 2 is very, very good. If you like Clone Wars, and you also want to know more about the clones after episode 3, definitely watch this because it is amazing. And again, it's probably some of the best Star Wars out there, in my opinion, especially with Andor. As I told Mike, Andor is actually surprisingly a very good show. So just want to get that out there real quick. I forgot to add that to my list. I just remembered that when we were talking about Last of Us.
All right. Well, the joke became real because if it's about Disney and Star Wars, I really don't care anymore. So
that's fair.
All right. Let's jump in now to the meat of the episode. This is where we go through and we predict the OpenCritic score for each and every game that, well, I guess that comes out that we want to. So, pretty much what this is it's kind of like a secondary little topic slash episode where we go through the games that we have drafted and maybe one or two other games that we want to talk about, and we predict what the game's going to get on OpenCritic and other aggregate video game sites, but I use OpenCritic for most of the things, and then we get points for how close we get. If you weren't there last year for this, let me explain it real quick. We predict the scores based off what it gets. If we get within 5 points of it, we start getting points added on to us. If we get the exact score right, we get a bullseye, so we get an extra 2 points on top of that. If you didn't join us for our end of the year wrap up, I won this as well last year, so the guys have something to fight for. Unfortunately, we weren't able to sit down due to sickness and get all the predictions out before any of the games started coming out, but we were able to text each other and get our predictions in for Fire Emblem Three Houses, which has got its review score. I've gotten on the board first in our Fantasy Critics League. It came in at an 83. DJ was one away, almost there, predicted an 84. Both Logan and myself predicted an 85, and Worthy predicted an 80. So as the score sits right now, me and Logan have 4 points, DJ has 5 points, and Worthy has 3 points. So without further ado, let's jump into it. This is our point of the show. This is Potts. This is the Open Critics Prediction Battle Part 2. So, the next game on the list, the reviews come out tomorrow. This is a DJ-picked game, so as tradition states, you get to be the man who makes his prediction first.
Oh, boy.
Oh, by the way, it's Forspoken. I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really hoping the problems with the requirements to run it at a high, like, as the best quality don't kill it in the reviews, but you never know. So with that being said, I think it still gets an 80. It looks good overall. I'm worried like I said, the technical aspect is going to hamper it a bit, but I think it still pulls an 80.
Okay. Well, I think the technical aspect really does hit it. From what I played from the demo, the world design is okay. I don't know how the story's going to be. The story may bring it up a couple notches in reviewer's mind, but just my gut chuck reaction after the demo, I mean, the demo was not bad. It just wasn't good enough for me to buy this day one. I'm not going to buy it. I already bought Fire Emblem Engage. I'm going to play that instead for this next week, waiting for Dead Space. So to that, I can't go to an 80, but I still think there's going to be enough just baseline quality here that it's not going to score super terrible. So I'm going to predict a 74 on its prediction score. It's just not what I was hoping it was going to be from the demo. Granted, the demo was poorly set up, and the demo was just bad in general. So the whole game may be significantly better with that. I said the gameplay may flow a lot better. You may understand things a lot better. But from what I played from the demo, it seems like a pretty rough game with good visuals that probably isn't going to run very well. So Logan,
72.
72. Any explanations or just fuck it?
Yeah. First thing first, if there's anything to go off of, it does matter on how the game runs. Clearly, have you seen Pokemon? Enough people see that the game doesn't run very well or has technical issues. It can bring the score down quite a bit, in my opinion. I also just don't think that the story is going to be that great. It seems like they have some weird mixture between trying to make it a Japanese style RPG, but more in the Western style, and it just doesn't seem good. It seems very cringy. The dialogue seems cringy. The story seems like altogether just one cringy mess. Also, just again, the fact that the game is doesn't really look that impressive, like at all. It is a definitely more in line with like what Final Fantasy 15 looked like, maybe slightly tweaked to look a little bit better, but it still kind of looks like a last gen game, and it runs unbelievably bad. Just from seeing again, like if you ever want to really see kind of how the demo ran, check out Digital Foundry's video. They did a whole review on like how the demo is. I do think the demo is practically how it's probably going to run when it comes out. I guarantee it in most ways. I don't think they probably fixed it completely by launch. I mean, clearly, go check out the PC recommended stuff or the specs and everything that you need to run it at recommended 1440p at 30 frames per second. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I think 72 is definitely in line with it. I don't think it's going to score very well at all. I don't even think it's going to get close to 80. I don't think it's going to be as bad as getting into the 60s. That would surprise me. But I know, especially with the whole PlayStation tag on it, it's pretty much guaranteed it probably won't get to the 60 probably. So I'll say, 72. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. I don't think it's going to be 71 or 70. I think it's going to get a little bit of bonus points, especially since it's made by the people of Final Fantasy. I think again, 72 seems pretty reasonable. I think it's not going to do great at all, and
I want to remove the Final Fantasy-ness from this. They made one Final Fantasy game, and it wasn't even a true Final Fantasy game. So I just want to remove that from that.
That's fair.
All right, Worthy. I got to defend my own turf over here.
I think it'll score 75.
75. All right. So DJ, you're on the high end. You're hoping and praying from your pick, right?
Yeah, that's most of it. I should have been more real, but I just really want it and need it to be an 80 or close. Like I would take a 78, 79, but I'm fingers crossed that the technological aspect isn't going to hamper it, but like Logan said, it's been hampering games that should have gotten maybe a little bit higher, but the game ran poorly, so then that hindered the overall success critically. So we'll see. I'm sure I'm probably gonna miss out on points on this one, but I gotta stick to my guns.
Yeah, I've been to see. It was your number 4 pick. My number 4 pick has gotten a score. I got 13 points for my number 4 pick, so it'd be interesting to match them up. All right, going to the next game, Dead Space, which is a Mike game. Sorry, Dead Space, a remake technically. I think this scores very high. Obviously, in the past 20 years, I think we have 2 shining examples of what the survival horror genre can be and what it can give to us. And I think those are Dead Space and Resident Evil 4, which is funny because we're literally getting them within the span of 2.5 months from each other, the remakes of them. So, I was going back and forth whether I think this is going to score higher or lower than the original game. The Last of Us Part 1 remake scored about 5 points lower. I don't think this is going to score that much lower because it's been significantly longer since the original one came out. But I'm going to say an 87 on my prediction for Dead Space. 1 point lower than the original game when it came out. So that's where I'm going to sit. I think it's going to score very well. I think people are going to really, really like it. My only hiccup is if it is like astronomically better, then I do think it will score higher, more akin to like RE2 remake was from 2018. All right, Logan.
I think it's going to get an 85, in my opinion.
85.
It's obviously, very high score. Game looks amazing. I think it's going to do insanely well in general, especially after the very sad Callisto Protocol situation. I do think it's going to do very well. I think people are going to really like it. It looks very technically impressive. It doesn't look like the specs are super dramatic. Cough, cough, we're spoken. And, you know, I think people obviously are going to, if you like the original, you're going to like this. It's not going to be much different other than that it's just going to be a very beautiful remake with probably a lot of quality of life improvements and also just a little bit of new ways that you can kill the monsters on screen. So I think it's 85. I know the game original one scored better, but just because it's a remake, I feel like it's not going to score as high because it's nothing really brand new, as it's more just a remake of something that already came out, and I think it's going to be very good. So I think 85 seems right in the middle of where I believe. I don't know if he'll score an 87, but I feel like an 85 seems right.
Mr. DJ.
I'm gonna Price's Right both of you, and I'm gonna go 86.
Of course you
Yeah, I
are.
had a feeling.
Of course you are. All right. Any reasoning behind it, or just going off what Logan I said?
It's one of those, like, I agree with you. I think there's been enough of a gap from even Dead Space 3 to now that a full remake of the original game is gonna score higher than if, like, Last of Us, if it is a remaster from, you know, a game, you know, from 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Like, I think this is gonna get up there. I could see it going 88, 87. But honestly, it's mostly I just want to split you guys and hope and pray that it does fall in that slot and I get those points.
I believe it's been 15 years since Dead Space came out. God,
It's pretty crazy.
makes me feel old as fuck. Anyway, speaking of old as fuck, Mr. Worthy Morgan, what's your prediction?
Yeah. I think it's going to score higher than what you guys have said. I have 89.
89. All right,
Damn.
coming in.
Good for Mike.
That'd be great for Mike.
Yeah.
I think just maybe updated graphics and the little hints of improvement they've done, and everybody's bad taste of Dead Space 3. They might go back into this and see how good it was and be really excited for it and see how much better how good it was.
Can I be honest? I don't think Dead Space 3 gets as much hate as it deserves. I think it deserves more. I hate Dead Space 3. I think it's fucking awful.
I didn't even finish it.
It's fucking terrible, dude. It's at a 78. No, that's way too high for that game.
That is too high.
Yeah. All right. Oh, speaking of that, if you guys are going to play Dead Space out there, I know Logan's not, but if Worthy you are, if you pre-order the game, you actually get Dead Space 2 with it. So that's the only reason why I pre-ordered it, because I get a free game with it. So
I
Wait,
heard about that. That is actually true.
yeah,
how do you get Dead Space 2 with it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they'll just port.
How does that work?
I think-
Is it like,
You
I
get,
think
like,
it's just a-
digital code?
I think it's just like a basic port of the game. It just comes with the remake. So
oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, fuck,
Yeah.
I would be going and
Yeah.
getting that pre-order tomorrow.
Maybe I will pre-order it.
yep, I pre-ordered it at Best Buy because I pre-ordered it at Amazon, and then they told me delivery January 31st, and I was like, well, fuck you. So,
I need to look this up
Is
now.
is that a everybody's retailer?
uh,
Like GameStop, will you be able to get it too?
yeah, I think it's just a pre-order bonus from like just pre-ordering the game. So
Oh, okay.
that's cool. Anyway, all right, moving on. Next game, Hogwarts Legacy. DJ's pick for game of the year. So DJ's also pick on the Fantasy Critic League. So Mr. Thorkage, Big Daddy D, this is your game through and through. You have ultimate faith in it. What do you think it's gonna get?
I think it's getting an 88. I question maybe going higher, but I think low bar. I'm gonna go 88. The more stuff I see, the more stuff I hear and watch on it. I think it's gonna be great. And like I said, I picked it, or like you said, I picked it for game of the year. I think it's gonna live up to that hype.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this one for a while. Everything we've seen, I mean, time and time again, we've talked about it on the show. I just simply think it looks incredible. I don't know how else to put my opinions on how it looks. It just looks amazing. Now, do I think the whole game's going to come together like that? I don't know. I think this is kind of a toss-up for me. I can easily see if it does hit and it does land the way that I feel like it's going to land. I honestly could easily see this getting to the 90s, but I just don't know what the rest of the game's going to be. We've gotten word now that the story's around 35 hours. A full playthrough is going to be about 60 or so hours. So it's a big game. It's a long game. And that's a lot of question marks when you have all that content out there. So I'm going to lowball it on my own prediction just to kind of cover myself, to cover that gap of what could be. I'm not going to price is right, DJ, but I am going to go at an 86 for my prediction. And that, in my opinion, and what I'm feeling right now, is a very low ball score. So, Mr. Logan.
83.
Much lower score. Well, not much lower.
I think that's still a good score. I think that's
obviously
where it's gonna reach. Again, everything looks great, but I do think a very important thing that we're not looking at here is we don't know how the story is gonna be. Everything else looks fantastic. Combat looks great. The open world looks great. The graphics in general looks great. You don't need a supercomputer to run it. That's great. I'm always going to talk shit on Forspoken now because of that. But I think 83 is where it's going to land because I'm not going to lie, but let's be honest here. These critics, they're probably going to put their own dumb opinion in there about a certain someone.
That's my only hiccup
shove it
on
into
it.
the score, and that's going to make me super mad because this game probably does need to score higher than it is. But if I know critics and them putting their own opinions into things that have nothing to deal with the game, they'll probably lower the score for that reason. And that makes me kind of mad. But let's be honest here, that's what they're going to do. Because there's even some people out there that aren't even going to review it, which is just annoying. But whatever. I think 83 is where it's going to land, though. Because, again, I do not know how the story is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be as good as everything else looks. They haven't really given us a lot about the story other than little tiny fragments. So it's really hard to say, but I think 83 is where it's going to land because just for that opinion. Like, even if it's like a good story and everything else is as great as it is, I think 83 is perfect where it's going to land. And again, critics and their dumb opinions on what they believe, and they're going to shove it down because of that reason, I feel like. But yeah, 83. I think that's reasonable, and I hope it does maybe even score higher than that. I hope it does, but I'm going to say 83 for that reason.
All right. Mr. Worthy Morgan.
I've been thinking about this game. I don't quite know. My biggest worry about this game is people are going to go into it thinking it's going to be telling it's like Harry Potter. It's going to have like Harry Potter in it, Hermione, Ron. I'm worried about having some people judge it because it don't have them, or it does, whatever, and it doesn't go towards the story or somewhat. I have 81.
All right,
So
I
I
got
think
you
it
in
might
there.
be an overall great game. It's just it's gonna get a little bit of a harsher judge because of that aspect.
I swear, if any of these critics come out and judge it for not having Harry Potter, I'm going to talk so much shit on them because
Yeah.
they've made it evidently clear this is set like what, like 150, 200 years before the timeline.
like this is
so.
before Dumbledore. This
Yeah,
is before any of those people.
This is
like, this is way
1800s.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
this is even before Fantastic Beasts. Like this is just way back.
I'm
way back.
gonna talk
But
so
you
much
don't
shit on
have
them.
people that look in. You don't have people that
That's
look
true.
into that before you get the game.
But this is also the critic score. You got to remind. So
Yeah.
this isn't the popular score. All right.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about what Logan said about them. Some people railroading it because J.K. Rowling is out of touch.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna make me
Well,
mad because it's
that's-
nothing. There's nothing to do with it. She
that-
didn't write this story
I
at
was
all.
gonna say that's putting it lightly
do
there,
that
Logan. DJ.
Yeah.
All right. Like a Dragon Ishin, the next Yakuza game to come out. This is a Mike game, not just in style. Like also I picked it. So
I wanted it though.
So I actually think I picked this 5th. No, I picked it like this is my last game I picked. It was 6th round. So I think this is honestly a steal because if you look at it, there's never been a Yakuza game not score in the 80s. So I was actually pretty proud of this getting as late as I did. So I'm gonna go with the old reliable here, based off what the original game. If you don't know, this is a sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is Like a Dragon Ishin, a sequel to that game. That game got an 84, so I'm gonna go with old reliable and stick with 84. It worked for me last year. I think over like a third of my games got 84. So go with old reliable, stick with it. I think this is an easy 10 plus points for me. And suck it. What do you got, Logan?
81. You know what? 82. Actually, let's put 82. Let's say 82 because I think again, I will say I don't know how much they're going to review because this game supposedly has been out for a while now, right? It came to Japan. It's been out since what, the PS4 or PS3? I can't remember what it was because this is technically just a port.
No, it's not.
But it's going to be.
This is the sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon.
It is? Or I thought this was the one that was in like the old Japan. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Pretty sure this is what this one is.
Yeah, you're wrong. Well, fuck, maybe I'm wrong. Got so confusing.
I thought this was. It came out in Japan a while ago. I don't remember when. I thought maybe it was PS4 or PS3. I think it's PS4 came out, but it was only in Japan, and now it's being ported over to the Western. But I think it kind of got a little bit of like a remake. Like the graphics are better, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of a little bit of a confusing thing with this.
Well, it's also confusing because they officially changed the name from Yakuza to Like a Dragon. That's the name.
Yeah.
So that's where I got. But by the way, this game came out in 2014.
Yeah, so it's been out for since the beginning of the PS4. That's crazy. Yeah, I think it's gonna be like an 82. I think I wonder if people when they review this, they're probably not even gonna know it either. And they're probably gonna look at it like it's an old, like a newer game. So they're like, oh man, this game seems pretty old with the stuff they did in it. But I think an 82. I think it's gonna do good. I think people that like these games, they usually score pretty dang well. But I think because this game technically is such an old game and it's just basically kind of a port to the new consoles and I guess even PS4, I think. I'm not sure. I think 82 seems pretty reasonable.
Mr. DJ.
I think I'm gonna go 83.
How the fuck I know you're gonna do that? I was looking at the score. I'm like, this bitch about to go 83. I knew it. I should have said it for you.
Honestly, I'm just trying to sit in between you two again. And when I looked this one up, I saw the potential low 80s, to maybe a little higher. But so this is one you snatched like right before I was about to pick again. So yeah, I think it's gonna clip an 83.
Also, don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but with Dead Space Remake, when you pre-order it, only the PC version gets Dead Space 2. No one else.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Which I was about to say, I'm like, are they really just gonna make an entire new port for the PS5? Because like I know how they could do it on the Xbox, but they don't even do it for the Xbox either. So it's literally only for the Steam version of Dead Space.
Okay. Well, I'm still gonna get the game, so fuck it. I just pre-ordered it.
That's fair.
But I might actually cancel that pre-order, then just buy it at where I work, so I can get 15% off. That's
Might as well.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
better play.
might.
All right, Worthy, what is your prediction?
I have 85, just a little bit above you.
All right,
Just hoping
Damn.
it scores above you.
Good for Mike. Again.
this is all coming up roses. This is true. All right, our next game, Horizon Call of the Mountain, the big game for the new PSVR 2 coming out in just a month now, exactly to this date, February 22nd. And I'm going to stick with my old reliable here. I think this is going to, I think this looks like a fantastic VR game. I think people are going to be excited with the new hardware out there. I think this is going to get a lot of eyes on it. A lot of people are going to review this game. So I don't think it's going to go that high because so many people are going to review it, which opens it up to some lower scores, bringing it down overall. So I'm going to stick with old reliable here on me and say 84. Even though I do think this could be one of the better VR games we've ever seen based off how it looks like and how it plays and the visual prowess of what this new VR headset is going to bring in people's eyes seeing it for the first time. So I think it could easily be higher, but I'm going to stick with old reliable here on me, so 84. So Logan.
Stuck between two different scores here.
60 and 90.
Nope. I was either thinking 79 or 80. Damn. You know what? I'm gonna go 79. This game I really don't think is gonna be that mind-boggling. It's a VR game. I think it's gonna be a short 5-hour experience probably, even though they may say it's more than that. I don't think it's gonna be much more than a tech demo for the new PSVR headset. The story's probably not going to be that great because it's a shoe-in game for the PSVR, which don't get me wrong, it's probably going to be a very fun, beautiful game to play on the new headset. But I don't think it's going to be that mind-blowing. I don't think they're going to be on guard with like some of the more impressive VR games that have come out, like, I don't know, for example, Half-Life Alyx or stuff like that. Even Half-Life Alyx didn't even get that high of a score, and that game's more mind-boggling than a lot of VR games. So I think because it's not only a PlayStation exclusive, and it also is going to be the first PSVR 2 game, and it's exclusive to the PSVR 2, I think 79 seems about right. I think it's going to be a very beautiful, short experience with a not-so-great story that's going to be mediocre at best, probably. And it's going to be, people are going to enjoy it, but I don't think it's going to get in the 80s. I really don't. I think 79, it's just barely not going to get in the 80s, I feel like.
Well, I don't really know what you're talking about because Half-Life Alyx has a 93.
That's fair. But that's true. But I still don't think this game is like on par with that game.
Oh, it's probably not going to be,
Or
but
with some other.
I think it's going to be
Yeah.
way more than a tech demo. Like, you can't always believe, but they've said it's going to be 8 to 10 hours. So I think it's going to be way more than a tech demo. All right.
Again, we'll see.
DJ.
I'm gonna go 86. I think it's gonna do pretty solid, especially being the first. I mean, it's got a little bit more hype to live up to because now Horizon's a well-established
A
game.
thing, yeah.
And
Franchise.
this being the first main exclusive title for the PSVR 2, I mean, it's might get a little bit more scrutiny, but I think it being a Horizon game, I think it's gonna do fairly well.
Mr. Worthy Morgan.
I have an 82.
82. All right. Oh, what the fuck? There we go. I figured it out. Any reasoning behind that? Or just say fuck it?
A big name. The franchise has a good name. I've never played Horizon, so I know it's always been rated good games and stuff. So I just think it'd be a good VR, decent, everybody like it.
You should definitely play Horizon, Worthy. Just saying. All right. Our next game, Sons of the Forest, the first repick from a year before. This is a DJ pick. So, DJ, what do you believe in Sons of the Forest?
Oh, I went back and forth on even picking this originally, but I keep seeing there's a decent amount of hype around it. from the stuff I went back and reread, I'm gonna give it an 80. I don't think it's gonna be mind blowing. I don't think it, but I also don't think it's gonna be, a total bomb. I think it's gonna come out, and I think it's gonna notch an 80.
All right. I've gone back and forth. I actually did look at this just because I remember last year there was some interesting stuff come out, and I got a little scared that it was actually going to score pretty high. But then I reeled myself in, and I'm still sitting around a 74, 75. So um, I'm going to say 74, just based off kind of the genre that it's in. These type of horror games, you usually don't score in the 80s. They usually don't score that high. But who knows? This could be the best of all of them. So, but I think 74, 75 is a good place to settle on for what I'm feeling on it. So, Mr. Logan.
79.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I think 79 because I think it's gonna be close to maybe as good as the original. I've watched a lot of gameplay on the original game. It is really cool. It's a very interesting take on the survival. I don't know. I guess what do you want to call it? Survival horror, or what are you even going to call it at that point? Because it's more like a survival game, but then there's like a slight bit of horror to it, and there's like a decent story connected with it as well. Um, I think 79 because I think it's going to be close to the original, but I don't think it's going to do enough to really impress or be as great as the original was. So I think 79 is about right. It's probably going to be more in the 80s, so I bet you DJ might get a bullseye on this one, but I'm going to go a little bit lower just in case because I feel like it's going to be good and a lot of people are going to really like it, but it's just not going to be The Forest. So,
Mr. Worthy.
I don't know too much about this, honestly, but with it being more of a horror, I do know that it's
Yeah, it's an open world survival horror game. You'll probably actually really like it. I know your type
Yeah.
of games, so
yeah. I might. I'm gonna go with 76.
okay. 76. So I'm coming at the low end. I'm probably wrong, but who the hell knows? I don't know. Based off last year, what happened, I don't think any of us know actually what's going on out there. So,
Eh.
all right. Logan, your first time going first. Octopath Traveler 2. You picked it with the third round pick. What, sir, are you feeling on it?
I'm going to kind of I'm going to go the opposite of what I said the last one, where I said it was going to be, I don't know how much more it's going to improve. I think they're going to do a lot with this game. So I'm just going to do this because for my hope's sake, I'm going to say 86.
All right, well, I'll get
I'm
my.
gonna hope this is much better than the original in many ways. It still looks really cool. Again, I'll never play these games because it's not my style of game, but I'm just hoping for more of the fantasy that it scores like an 86. I really hope so.
Well, I very much play these types of games. I very much enjoy this game. I enjoyed the first one. I never got around to fully beating it, mostly because it didn't have a great narrative structure behind it, which kind of pulled me away. It distracted me a little bit. That is the biggest criticism of the first game. And that is one of the things that they've talked at length about, that they have fixed this. This is a united narrative. So it all links together and all works together over the construct of having your 8 characters. So I think this is going to be better than the first game. First game got an 84. I think Logan is spot on with his prediction. I think them fixing that narrative is going to help the game flow a lot better and land a lot better with people. So I think an 86 is right where it's going to be, and I'm very excited about this game. So it's a very much a Mike game. All right, DJ.
Another draft pick stolen from me, only because I said Hogwarts before I actually took it. So, but yeah, I was reading into it. First one did well. I'm gonna go 85 on this one.
Price is right.
All right, Mr. Worthy Morgan.
Damn straight.
Well, Brittany really loves these types of games, and I actually got her the first one, and she's still playing it. She loves it, and this is one I really, really wanted to get on this fantasy. I have it scoring 90.
Oh, coming
Please,
in big
please,
time. Yeah,
please.
that'd be huge.
I would love that.
Our first 90s prediction. I think we all learned fairly well last year that it is hard for a game to get into the 90s. There was only two
Yeah, it's very
games.
difficult.
There was only two games that did it last year, and it was two of the best games to come out in the past decade. So, but hey, let's fucking hope. Let's hope for Logan. It gives him a chance to be competitive this year.
Okay, all right, calm down. I don't know if you've seen the new Life is P gameplay, by the way. Ooh, beautiful, man.
Well,
Can't wait.
maybe you should know the name first. It's Liza P.
You know what? You're right.
All right, next game, Scars Above.
Liza P.
This is a DJ game. What do you think? Sorry, I got distracted. What do you think, DJ?
This one I went back and forth on. I think it could be the potential to go higher. I think it's only going to get a 78 though. So it looks like it has the potential to be good, but with the slew of games coming out around it and just in general in this year and just I don't know. I think it could do better, but I'm just going to go with what I say 78.
That's indeed what you
Yeah.
said. All right. I actually last night in my research and my preparation for this, I watched a couple previews of it. I think it looks interesting. I don't think it's that pretty of a game. From what I saw, the animation of the main character seemed pretty rigid and rough. It's one of those highly difficult games trying to nerf off the kind of Dark Souls. It's got high Returnal vibes. I think this is very much going to be in that AA space of game. I think you're a little higher in your prediction, so I'm going to go at a 75 for mine. I think it's going to be an okay game, a fine game. I mean, 75 is a good score, but I just don't know if it's going to hit that heavy. I was going back and forth between 75 or 72. But I think 72 is a little low, and I'm trying to eke out some points here. So, Mr. Logan.
74. If we get a Price is Right, you. I actually was looking it up while you guys were talking. Yeah. Animation looks very rough. And in a lot of ways, not even the enemies. Everything just looked kind of okay. I don't think it'll get in the 60s. It doesn't look. Well, I don't know. That's a very difficult one. It could get to the 60s, honestly, but it'd probably be more like the high 60s more than anything. But I think it's gonna nudge its way into the 70, either the low 70s. I don't think it'll get anywhere higher than that. But yeah, 74 seems about right in my opinion.
Mr. Worthy.
I chose actually 74, but I'm gonna go with a different number just in case it is a different number.
Let me guess, 76.
72.
Oh, 72. Okay, you went with the lower one. Reasonings?
I just think it's rigid and it's a little bit rough looking. That's about it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I settled on. So I think it may get some points if the gameplay is solid and all that. But I just don't think it looks that great. And like we've learned, visual fidelity and performance is still a metric that people go by. So, all right, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Don't know why I said final, but this is a worthy pick game. He picked it with his sixth round pick. Yeah, sixth round pick. So, Mr. Worthy, you have the floor.
I think it'd be a good game. I haven't actually looked too much into it because it seems like you look at the games that's coming out here recently, none of my games are up there. I think it's gonna score. Let's go 84. Just in the middle.
Yep. I mean,
Decent.
hey, that's the magic number. If we learned anything from my year last year, 84 is definitely the magic number. So, I'm gonna Price is Right you and go 85. No, I'm gonna go 83. No, I don't know. Whatever, 83. Fuck it. I think this is coming from a good developer, a developer that has been in this this genre of game for a while. This is coming from the guys that made the Neo games. I'm correct on that, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay. So they know what they're doing, but I do think their attention is kind of split. They're making this and they're making the PS5 exclusive game, which seems a little bit more ambitious with what they're trying to do with that game. So I think maybe this is kind of like their side project that they've been working on for quite a few years, and more the intention is being put towards the more expansive kind of narrative-driven open world game, returning to the roots a little bit with that. So I think this is gonna sit at an 83. It could go 85. I don't really know. It's kind of a toss-up, but I'm just Price is Right and worthy here, so I'm okay with that. Logan.
I'm gonna have to agree with Worthy on this one. I'm gonna say 84. Especially since, as you said, it's a side project. I think
It may not
if
be.
I'm
That's
gonna
just
go
what
off
it
of
feels
their-
like to me.
Yeah, well, because it's like, I mean, I'm looking at both the Neo 1 and Neo 2 scores. It went from an 88 to an 85 for Neo 2. And with this not being one of their main lines, I still think it's going to do good, but it's just not going to do as good. So I feel like 84 seems pretty reasonable. I think that's where it's going to land. I think it's going to be a good game. Well, great game, probably in some ways. So, yeah.
All right. DJ.
I'm matching you at 83.
All right, there we go. Well,
Oh my God.
we're going to get points, I guess. Well, I guess we
Wanna-
could not
yeah.
get points.
They could get a 90 for all we know.
Yeah.
And we
That'd
get
be pretty wild.
and we get 0 points. So I was trying to think while putting this together if we wanted to if we were over 10 points away, if we wanted to start getting negative points, but I didn't feel like trying to do that. That's a lot of setup and formulas on Excel I didn't feel like trying to work with. But if you guys wanted me to do that, let me know. So Atomic Heart, the game that seems to never come out, is finally coming out. I aped this game from, I think DJ put it on there. I put some money down, stole it from him on the bids.
Yep.
So I am going to come in at an 82. I think this game looks pretty awesome. I think it could easily go higher, but I think it's one of those things that it's a new IP. We haven't really seen anything from this developer beforehand that I'm aware of significance. So this is the first truly big budget game. This has been in production for a long time. So I think 82 is a decent score for me. Especially, I mean, if it scores an 82, I'll be very happy. This is a game I just randomly stole from somebody. So, but I think that's an easy middle ground for me, and I think it'll sit somewhere in the low 80s. So, Logan.
81. I think it's gonna definitely get in the low 80s in some way or form, hopefully. I mean, I hope it's good. I guess maybe not hopefully for fantasy's sake for Mike, but I want it to get in the probably low 80s because I think it looks cool. They got a really good music artist behind it, so I mean, I at least know that's going to be great. And the game looks kind of fun, and I actually will be playing this game when it comes out because it's coming to Game Pass, so I'll just download it as soon as it comes out and probably play that. But yeah, I mean, it looks cool. I don't know if it's going to be amazing. I definitely don't think it's going to get anywhere more than the, in my opinion. If it does, then they have been hiding a lot of stuff from people. So I think a low 80 seems reasonable.
All right, DJ.
I'm gonna go. Man, when I re-looked at it and I thought about getting it, I think it has a lot of promise. And I think it's gonna surprise people. I'm gonna go with 84.
All right, old
I hope
reliable.
Yep.
I hope so. So worthy.
I'm going lower than all you guys. I'm going 78.
Dang.
I just
Tough
think
world.
it's going mid 70s.
I mean, hey, that is what the projected points are. 8.9, so it's going to sit somewhere in the 78 to 79 range. That's what Fantasy Critic is projecting. So
Scores lower, better for me. Points.
that's true. True. It'll eliminate us from getting any points. And if it scores lower, I'll be sad. So, All right, Blood Bowl 3. This is a game that DJ picked up on bid. So take it away, Mr. Kage.
Two's fun. This is definitely a niche game. It's Warhammer, but it's football. It is fun to play. The second one is great. I'm definitely gonna get this one. I know some of my Warhammer guys are also gonna get this one, so we might do a league on there. It's not a super high scoring game. I'm gonna give this one a 76. I think the first one got like a 75 or 76. So I think it's gonna keep the status quo and it's gonna do right around there.
Yeah, I was actually doing some research on this. I didn't know anything about it. So when you put it on the bids list, I kind of looked into it a little bit, seeing if I wanted to try to steal it from you or not. I did not, so I gave it to you. But yeah, the second game got a 76. I said I looked into it, watched some videos. Definitely, as DJ said, a very niche game. I wanted to go lower just because, I don't know, maybe there's a part of me that kind of wanted to be like a little stab at you, DJ. But I'm also trying to win, so I'm going to go... I don't think it gets any higher than the mid-70s at maximum, so I'm going to sit at a 71 for my prediction. But I don't know.
Mid 70.
I said I don't think it's going to get any higher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't see this game scoring 75, 76, 77, anything more than that. If it does, awesome. I'm happy for the people that want to play this game. Happy for DJ. But I think 71, 72 is more realistic on where it's going to sit. So, Logan.
I'm gonna say 72. I actually played a little bit of Blood Bowl 2. Like a while ago. I picked it up on sale like when I was back in college. It's a cool little fun game. I don't remember. I never played the first one, so I don't really know much about the first one. But I played the second one. It was kind of cool. It's kind of fun. It was interesting. The whole die rolling thing with every move. I know a lot of people didn't really like that. But I mean, I don't really think it's gonna do much more or do much more crazy things than what they've done the last two. And I mean, they don't really score super high in my opinion. So I'm gonna say 72. I think it's probably gonna be a little bit better than maybe the second one, but I don't think it's gonna do super crazy.
Mr. Worley Morgan.
I guess 73. It'll score mid 70s, low 70s. It'll get you some points.
All right. Next game, Wild Hearts. A very interesting game coming from EA. Really the first time we've seen anybody even attempt to do a Monster Hunter-like game. I have some opinions on this, but obviously it's a DJ game, so I want you to go first.
It should have been a Logan game.
Yeah, I didn't pick it up. That's why I looked at it before.
It was me. I put the
Oh,
bid
it was
in.
you. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those I wasn't entirely sure. I forget if this is the one I looked at because there's a few I looked at that I want to put in and then it was just like, "Oh, it's already up for bid." So, man, it's so all over. It's an EA game. Like that makes me question it a bit because EA doesn't seem to give two shits about anything outside of sports games, and honestly their sports department has been very lacking. I still think though, I think it's going to pull a 79.
I mean,
right, Mike.
You're sitting right. Sorry, I was typing, but I fucked up. I'm sitting kind of right around where you are. I actually have quite high hopes for this. I'll push back a little bit. EA makes surprisingly good games outside of the sports games. I think they're doing a much better job than people give them credit for with some of their more original titles. And this is just a weird game with a weird developer behind it, and history says when you let developers stretch their wings and you let them kind of experiment and you let them do something that they're passionate about, it usually works out fairly well. There's a lot of talent in the world in the video game industry and developers and all that. If you don't know anything, this is coming from the guys that make the Muso games, so like the Dynasty Warrior type games. Like this whole game is just weird. The people who are making it is weird. The people who are producing it, EA, it's a weird choice. But I think this one's actually going to sneak up on us. I think it's going to surprise us fairly well. I've done a lot of look into it. A lot of look into it? What?
A lot of look into it.
A lot of looking into it. Seems to have a super deep combat system, just like all the Monster Hunter games, but it seems to be a little bit more welcoming to people who aren't used to the genre. So I'm gonna say 81. I think this was a good snag. I was actually thinking about putting some money down on this to kind of snag it out because I actually have decent expectations for this, and I think it's going to sneak up and surprise people. And I've just come around on EA in the past couple years. Most of that's from I don't think they're as bad as people say they are in the regular games genre. Obviously, in their sports games, they're just as bad as they've always been. But they've been making surprisingly good games and making interesting pairings with people. People forget that EA produces like It Takes Two and other games like that. So I think they surprise people and they're doing some good. Definitely a lot better than Ubisoft. We're not going to get a chance to talk about Ubisoft this episode, but definitely the better production company in my opinion. So Logan.
I don't know, man. This is a tough one. I can't really look at it from EA perspective because I'm not gonna lie, EA does make a lot of shitty games, but they also make some very good ones. Like Jedi Fallen Order. Like they didn't make it, but they're the publisher. But then they also make some of the worst, or help publish some of the worst, like Anthem and all that. But I gotta look at it from the studio's perspective. I don't really know much about their games, but since this is their first time trying to kind of compete against Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter kind of has a lot more above this game and a lot more of a fan base. I'm gonna say 78. I don't think it's gonna score in the 80s. I really don't. I think it's going to be probably a good game. A lot of people are gonna probably enjoy it, but I just don't think it's gonna get in the 80s. It's just barely not gonna make it, I feel like.
You said 78, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Worthy.
I originally put a bid in on it, just thinking I can snatch it and make a few points. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this game. I've looked at some stuff on it. It's something I thought maybe I might want to buy eventually, not day one, but I have 77. I think it might get the points, or I don't know. I have a bad taste about EA. I can't stand it.
Like I said, yeah. I don't come from EA from the sports guy. I don't play the sports games anymore, so I
don't blame either.
I've played quite a few EA games outside of the sports games, and they seem to do a much better job than Ubisoft of letting the people that they work with make the games that those people want to make. It Takes Two, Star Wars Jedi. They've definitely pulled back on forcing developers to use their engines, doing all this, and when I don't think we're in the EA Renaissance era because they're always going to be that company in people's mind, but I think we moved out of the EA trash era. So I actually think they're in a pretty good spot financially and all that. And if you do a little bit of like background and some of the things we've heard that come out about it, Anthem wasn't EA's fault at all. That was almost strictly on BioWare outside of forcing them to work in the engine that just wasn't good. And Battlefront was mostly on DICE itself and not EA. So maybe false hope, but it seems to be the changing of the tides in a way the past couple years with that company. So
I mean, they were a publisher on Dead Space, right?
they still are, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they can make good ones. This could honestly, I could see the scoring higher, like 85 if it turns out to be good. I think it will be good enough to make a sequel to it.
What's good?
I do think that.
Let's hope. I like when developers get to make something fresh and new. So let's hope it goes well. All right, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is a big one on my calendar for the year. I can't wait. This is a DJ game, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
DJ is your second round pick, so take it away, sir.
Well, one got an not one. Fallen Order got an 82. I think this is going to be even better. So I'm riding high. I'm hoping I pull at least an 85.
Well, an 85 with your second pick would be really good. I love Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It's my favorite Star Wars game ever made. Followed closely by Battlefront 2. It's a very much just was exactly what I wanted from a Star Wars game. Like you said, I think they're going to fix some of the navigational issues with the first game. I do believe they say they're going to have world fast travel, so you can fast travel within the actual area maps, unlike the first game. So they're going to fix the biggest negative with the first game. So I think you're right on, but I'm going to Price is Right you and say, you know what? No, I'm just going to agree with you. We're all friends here. 85. So I was going to go 84, but then I was like, I could get 86. So I'm just going to go 85. All right. Logan, you're the biggest.
84.
Oh, okay. 84. I was going to say.
Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not gonna score well.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be good. I just don't like the first one because I hate the world travel. I think it's absolutely dog shit, and I think everyone I've talked to about has also agreed that that's like one of the worst parts of the game. It's just going through the world, and it's like, okay, you're done. Now go back through everything you just did. Like that sucks. I'm gonna hope that's one thing they fixed in this game. I really, really hope that's something they fixed in this game. I don't know what they did, but I thought that was probably the worst part of the original game. Like, because I wanted to beat it, but I got so bored of having to go back and forth to the world. It just wasn't fun. So yeah, 84. I think it's gonna be better than the original. I think they're gonna step it up. They now probably have more of a budget behind it. They have a lot more hope. They have a fan base. I mean, it's gonna be better. I feel like no matter what, it looks like it's gonna be better. So I'm gonna say 84.
Worthy.
I'm just gonna agree with you. 85. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so.
All right. Nice, short, quick. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the big one for the year: The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This is the number one overall pick in our draft. It is most of ours pick for Game of the Year. So it's time to finally put a number on it. DJ, this is your pick, so you're starting us off. What do you think The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is going to get?
I think it's going to go a 96.
That's big. That's big. That'd be tied for the highest scoring game of all time.
People were very blown away by the previous installment. I think most Zelda games go higher and higher and higher, it feels like, and I think this one is just going to kick it up a notch, and I think it's going to hit that upper echelon and possibly be the only 90 we see this year.
All right, 96. So I actually put that in my spot.
Not even Spider-Man.
All right. I think Breath of the Wild was such a revolution in open world game design. It was such a breath of fresh air. See what I did there?
Good one.
Thank you.
Good one.
I'll pat myself on the back. Don't worry. But I do think this is going to be iterative in a way, not revolutionary like the first one. It's still Zelda. It's still going to be incredible, and I think they're still going to find some interesting things to do with the exploration now, with it being based more in air travel and all that. So I'm going to go one below the original, one below DJ. So I'm going to go with a 95. I do think this is one of the best reviewed games of all time. I do think it's going to be the highest scored game of this year. So that's where I am sitting at. Mr. Logan.
Let's see. Dang, that's a tough one. I'm gonna agree with you and say 95. I don't think it's gonna get to the exact area of the first game. I think it's not gonna do much more than what the first one already did, but they're
I
just
mean,
gonna add
there's
more.
not much
And what
higher
the
it can
sequels
go.
do,
So
yeah, I mean, it's already at its peak. It's kind of hard to keep going, unless they like really did some crazy stuff, which I don't think they will. And I think it's going to be a lot like the original, just with more. And that's where I think it's just going to be like it just isn't going to hit the same score. Like I think people are going to be there are going to be some people that are going to be way overhyped for this game, think it's going to revolutionize gaming yet again, when in reality it's probably going to be a lot of what we already got. So I think 95 is very reasonable.
Hmm.
you want to hear something funny before Worthy goes? So I just pulled up its scores and sorted by the lowest. Michael Jordan, reviewing games now from Niche Gamer, gave the game a 7 out of 10. Said it's a brilliant first attempt, but that does not make it a great game. That's what they had to say about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh, good review.
Yeah. And then there's always that Mr. Jim Sterling, the Golding,
Oh god.
the crown jewel of the video game industry, gave The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild a 7 out of 10. He said, "Truly, I wish I could say I understood what all the critics were raving about in their onslaught of 10 out of 10 reviews, but I don't see it. I see too many things getting in the way of the brilliance, too much repetitive busy work, and full-on dick moves for me to say this is even close to my favorite Zelda game, much less in the top 5. I fucking hate this man, dude. I
Didn't
know.
he chop off his dick
I
or
don't know.
something? Like, dude, what is this guy talking about?
I don't know.
Too many dick moves.
Yeah, what dick moves does the Legend of Zelda pull?
Yeah.
What? I truly.
Dude, if anything, you're just a dick because you want to make low scores for everything. That's all you do.
I want to remind people out there that he gave Callisto Protocol like a 3 out of 10. It may not be a great game, but
But it's
just
definitely not that
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Someone needs to fucking check these reviewers.
Mm.
All right, Mr. Worthy.
Oh. What numbers did everybody say again? I'm sitting here trying to think.
95
Which
for
one?
both Logan and I, 96 for DJ. For reference, the original
Yeah.
game, well, not really original, the Breath of the Wild got a 96.
Mm-hmm. I'm going 96 also. That's what I scribbled down.
All right, so
It's,
do you think it's the highest scored game of the year? Again, it's kind of hard to beat that, but
yeah,
It
I
probably
think it
will
is.
be.
Yeah. Oh,
All
that'd
right.
be something we can get bonus points for. If we can predict what game scores the highest and what game scores the lowest. Get some bonus points for that.
We'll think on it. All right.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. This is another DJ game. Man, we're just going through you all of yours, aren't we? All right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you freaking stole Redfall, dick.
All right. The long-awaited next entry in the Rocksteady Arkhamverse. What do you have, DJ, for Suicide Squad killed the Justice League?
I was very leery of this when it first got announced, and I didn't know how I was going to do. The recent stuff I've seen, the more I see, I think it's going to be a pretty solid game. I'm giving it an 82.
All right, 82. I don't know. I'm kind of out in the wind with this one. I don't really know where to sit on it. I love Rocksteady. I think they have made pretty much nothing but bad games. I mean, their first game was an underwhelming first-person shooter, and then they've made Batman games ever since. So, I don't really know where to sit with this. This is mostly based off their consistently high bar of quality that they've set. From what we've seen, I think the humor's doing pretty well. The gameplay, I'm sure, is going to be fun and engaging. My only hiccup is I don't really know how the co-op systems and all that are going to work. There's probably going to be some sort of upgrade / gear system thrown in there just by nature of what it is. But I think it's overall going to play very well. It's going to look incredible. So I'm going to go with old reliable once again and say 84. Logan.
I don't know, man. This is difficult. This game, I already know. Like, I have a feeling I already know exactly what kind of game they were wanting to make. But then they seen a certain other game called Marvel's Avengers come out and be as dog shit as it is. Not saying that people can't enjoy it, like Mike. I think there's always games out there that are bad that people enjoy, but it's a matter of what the score is going to be. I think they looked at that game, seeing how bad it was and how much of a flop it was, and they changed some things, and that's why it's been kind of delayed a little bit more. I think they probably changed some systems around, kind of like what they did with Gotham Knights, uh, where you can clearly tell Gotham Knights also wanted to be a lot like Marvel's Avengers. But man, this is difficult because I feel like the story is actually going to be really good. Um, and I think the gameplay could be really fun, but all the enemies they show and all the gameplay looks so bland and basic. And it kind of reminds me a lot of Avengers, where it's like you fight all these robots, and then there's these like some boss battles, and Marvel's Avengers had a decent campaign. I do think this campaign is going to be better, but I still feel like there's going to be that slight bit of disappointment because I feel like there isn't going to be a lot of enemy variety. I think this game is probably going to be a lot more shorter than people probably are expecting. And I still feel like they didn't have enough time to really completely change this game around. So it's still probably going to be grindy, and it's all going to be about gear systems. And it's all going to be about, do I have the legendary bat for Harley Quinn? Um, I Yeah, this is difficult. I'm gonna say 80. I'm gonna say 80, maybe 79. I don't know. I'm gonna say 80. I'm gonna stick with 80. I don't think it's gonna get much more than a low 80 because I feel like it's still gonna have that crap in it. It's still gonna have the garbage gear system crap. It's still gonna be like Marvel's Avengers, one way or another.
All right, Mr. Worthy.
I'm gonna say 78. I don't think he gets above 80.
Dang, y'all are way lower than this. Than I am.
I want it to be good. This looks
Yeah.
fun, but I just know what kind of game it's going to probably be, which is going to probably disappoint me no matter what. So,
Gotham Knights, that scored a what?
Not good.
Yeah.
not good.
So
This is not Gotham Knights, though. This is.
I
Well,
think
yeah,
I
this is
think
a
it'd be,
different developer.
yeah, it is. I think it'd be better, but I don't think it hits 80.
All right. Well, turning back to you, Mr. Worthy, Street Fighter 6, your final pick in the draft. Second to last. Yeah, second to last pick, sorry. What do you think Street Fighter 6 is going to get?
I think it just scores in the upper 70s. Let's just go with 77.
70,
Just an average game.
77. I mean, 77 is a good score. It's above average.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted some points, and I feel like it'll just get you the average points.
all right. Well, I think this is actually going to surprise people. I think Street Fighter is obviously, a well-known commodity in the video game world. People love this game. And I think from what they've showed, they've learned from the mistakes of Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5 has a 75 right now. So I'm gonna push the 80 here. I think this is a return to form for this franchise in a way. I still don't know how people are going to receive the single player content, which could bring it down some notches. But I think strictly on the fighting, like the one-on-one combat and the actual how the game plays, it's going to be received very well. But the single player content may bring it down a notch if it's not up to par. I don't really know how people are going to receive that. So to me, I'm lowballing a little bit at an 80, but I could be a little higher on this than most. So Logan.
Mike, I think you're very much highballing this, but I wouldn't really say 80 is a low because if you look back at their history, a lot of them don't even reach 80. So I think this game's probably better than the last one, I would hope. But the last one didn't really score super high. And again, I'm trying to look at it for what it is. It's new. They're adding some interesting story stuff with that kind of like open world kind of thing they're kind of doing. Kind of cool. But I still feel like it's going to be somewhat. It's just not going to be. It's not going to reach 80. So, man, I'm stuck between two different scores. So I'm going to say 76.
By the way, you're totally right. I just looked at some of the games and
Yeah,
I may be a little high, but I don't know. It looks super fucking fun.
and maybe you're right.
and I
This
know-
will probably be the first Street Fighter to ever get in the 80s. Probably. I don't know what the
Yeah,
originals
maybe.
got, but they always get in the 70s. So this would have to be pretty wild to get in the 80s.
Well, some of them have gotten much higher. Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, whatever that means, 87. Some of the anniversary collections, 83. Street Fighter 2 is like 88. So that's why I said I think this is kind of a return to form for them, from Street Fighter 4 and 5 being kind of down a little bit. But I mean, it's 75, 76. It's not down. It's still a good game. But
Oh yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
Alright. DJ.
I am gonna go with a 79. I think it is gonna do a little bit better. Like you said, like the stuff we've seen makes me think they did learn from their mistakes with the first one. And I think they're gonna get it back a little bit more towards that arcade feel. And I think it's gonna be a return to form for Street Fighter.
All right. Mr. Logan, Diablo 4. This is
I don't
your-
have that. That's not mine.
Nope, that's me.
Oh,
Yeah.
you said. Sorry, I know you're really excited about it. Sorry, my bad. All right, so you're the second round pick, Mr. Worthy Morgan. Diablo 4. What are you coming in at?
85.
All right, 85. Damn it, I put it for Logan. Logan, what? I know you're excited about this. What are you feeling, man?
Oh no! You go first. Take your time.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm the host, so
82.
82. Wow. You think it's gonna be worse than Diablo 3?
Oh, is it? Well,
Diablo 3 is
now that you say
87.
that-
Diablo 3 is 87.
No, are you serious?
Well, the Reaper of Souls, which is like the re-release, I couldn't find what the original release was.
Oh, well, I'm gonna say 85 with Worthy then. I'll stick with that. 85. I'll keep it
Okay,
with that,
so the original release of Diablo 3 is an 88.
No way. Really?
But you already said 5, so fuck it. You're
Yeah.
locked in.
Damn, dude. I didn't think I was gonna. That's surprising. I thought Diablo 3, because Diablo 3 is the worst one to a lot of people. So to get an 88, that's pretty mind blowing.
The user score is a 4.2, but I don't really trust those too much, especially now with 10,000 plus ratings. Diablo 4. I think you guys are wildly off the mark with this one. I think this looks like the greatest game ever made. 84.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna go for that. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna be like, you were gonna try to act like it's gonna be like a 90. No, it's not.
No, I think this game's going to score well. I just know there's a lot of people in the fan bases that aren't very excited with what they're doing. I don't really know. I don't have a background. I've enjoyed some Diablo games. I like the genre, the action RPG, the ARPG, as people would say. But I'm not like a huge fan of it. I'll probably hop onto this sometime in 2024 when they put out the re-release version of it. I don't know. So I'm just kind of fucking throwing something out there. 84 is like my go-to. So, all right, DJ.
And I'm gonna match you on that and go also 84.
All right. Well, there it is.
That's still so mind blowing right now. I didn't know the score.
Diablo usually scores really, really well because they know what they're doing with the game and they're good at making this style of game. I mean, it's the best of the genre, and it always is. And every time a new one comes out, people are like, "See, this is them showing everyone how it's actually done." Now we've gotten a lot of ARPGs since then with like Path of Exile and other kind of riffs on it, but I still think they are the kings of making these. And again, I have absolutely no fucking clue where this is going to land. I just know it's probably going to get more than 80. So I
feel like we're definitely all gonna be wrong on this.
just
Because
like
now that I see Diablo 3, man, like Diablo 3 is literally known to worst Diablo. And I like that game, don't get me wrong, but it's not like the originals where like everyone praises Diablo 2. And this is pretty much what this is going to be, is basically them coming back to what Diablo 2 did before. And wow, I think we're all going to be wrong. I think it might be an 87, but can't change my score now. I think it is going to probably be like an 87 now.
Diablo 2 has an 87, so 1 point less than Diablo 3.
I only think it's going to be an 87.
Well, no, I was just laughing because you said Diablo 3 is like the worst. It's 1 point higher than Diablo 2.
That's why I'm saying. That's what's so weird, because like the Diablo community absolutely despises Diablo 3.
They do.
But Diablo 2 is known to be the best Diablo of all time. So,
speaking of communities that are very passionate about what comes out, Final Fantasy 16 is our next game on the list. It was my number 1 pick. I've talked at length about how I trust the people making this game. Everything I've seen, I personally think it looks absolutely spectacular. I think they've made all the right decisions with their world design and not making it just one continuous open world. I think the characters look great. I think the story looks super interesting with what they're doing. It's a reinvention of Final Fantasy in a way with how we interact with the summons or the icons, and was what they're called in this game. I'm going to go high on this, mostly because I am through the roof excited for it. It may not get this high. It probably won't get this high, but I think this is it challenges for the second highest scored game of the year. I'm going through the roof, 91.
Okay, but say if you were about to say like 96, I'm like, you're probably gonna be wrong.
No, I said second highest.
I'll let you believe if you did say that. Wow, damn. This one is
Final Fantasy 15 has an 81. Final Fantasy 15 is the farthest thing away from a Final Fantasy game that Final Fantasy has ever been.
Exactly. No, I have a feeling it's going to be at least in the high 80s, probably. Damn. This is tough. I don't know jack squat about Final Fantasy games, but I do know they score well, which makes me think that this is going to be scored pretty high.
I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake has an 88. And for how good that game is, it says Final Fantasy VII Remake has an 88, and for how good that game is, it's still just a, riffing on what came before. So we know remakes and all that usually score a little bit less than the original pieces. So I think this is going to be in that talk for like upper echelon Final Fantasy games, akin to something like 6, 7, or 10. So I said I'm probably high, but man, Final Fantasy is really good. I know you don't like it, but Final Fantasy games are fucking fantastic.
It's not about my opinion. I'm trying to look at the fact that I know what the score. And man, dude, these games are all over the place. And I can't put a number down on this. This is difficult. I'm gonna say 89. 89. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna quite hit in the 90s. Because the 90s is a very difficult number to get, especially nowadays.
You're probably right. I'm mostly going off my own excited fan base and obviously the Critics League.
But you could be right, and that's where it's like I don't know. Like it's very difficult because like all of them are completely different. Final Fantasy 15 wasn't really much of a Final Fantasy game, as you say, and it still got an 80. But then there's Final Fantasy 14, which is an only online game, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct on that? Yeah, and that got like a 9 out of 10. You got Final Fantasy 13, and I got like a 7 out of 10. So it's like, I don't know where to go with this. So it's like, I'm going to say 89 because I feel like it is going to probably score very high in the 80s, but I don't think it's going to hit in the 90s.
All right, DJ, the man who I've been trying to get to play Final Fantasy games forever.
I'm hoping it'll happen this year. I think there's quite a few of them on our premium pass.
I don't actually know about that, but I know the Pixel remasters are finally coming to PS4 and 5, but those are some of the older games. At least play Remake.
Yeah, I think that's one of those. Again, it's like I was talking before. Logan and Worthy you and Logan hopped on. Money's going to be very tight in the video game wise this year, so I don't know how many of these titles I'll actually get to play unless it's through my premium pass. So, like I said, I'm kind of up to whatever after I'm done with Ragnarok, and my only other main focus is going to be Warzone. So I think one of my goals this year is to play a Final Fantasy game. So I think this I'm torn. Part of me doesn't want to do it, but I think I have to. I'm going 90.
That'd be great for Mike. Mike would be very happy with that number.
Mike would be very, very happy. Mr. Worthy, I don't think you've ever played a JRPG. Well, no, you said you like Octopath, so never mind. So what are you thinking here, man?
Well, Final Fantasy always scores good, as everybody knows, but Brittany really likes playing them, and her brother has the Cloud Sword actually, and tons of other swords from Final Fantasy. He's really big into it. I know he's looking forward to this, so I just don't think it's gonna hit in the 90s. I think it's gonna hit mid 80s, and I'm going with 87.
You guys are probably right. It's probably not reaching into the 90s, but I'm letting my fandom take over a little bit. So,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
all right,
Just more points for us.
speaking, damn.
Tough.
Speaking of fandoms, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, DJ, take it away.
90.
What? Wait, seriously?
All right, come down.
The first one I think is like an 87 or 88.
Oh, he's serious, folks.
I think this one is just going to be even better. You got Henry Cavill coming back or voicing Captain Titus. I think it's just going to be. It looks great. I can't wait. This is one of those that it's probably going to have to. If I'm only allowed to get myself like a couple games this year, this is when I'm definitely getting. That and maybe Hogwarts Legacy, but like those are one of the only couple games that I'm pushing for myself to get, and like this is probably the one I'm the most hyped for this year, and I can't wait to play it.
All right, well, I'm gonna reel you back in a little bit. The first game has
Yeah,
the first game has a 74, sir. So
I was just looking at it.
no Warhammer 40k Space Marine 74. So I'm gonna reel you in a little bit. I do think this looks really, really good, and I'm excited to kind of dive into it in my first kind of experience. But I'm gonna say 76. So I'm gonna reel you back in a little bit there, brother.
Sorry. I'm looking at the Steam and the Google and stuff. That's not the
actual.
But I mean, it still has rather good scores across the board outside of
76 is not a bad score. Like I think it's gonna be a good game. I'll just reel you back in a little bit.
I still think it's going to be up there.
Okay.
Maybe not as high as I'm giving it, but
well, that would be amazing for you to snag that high of a game with a lower pick. So, all right, Mr. Logan.
Oh man. I think it's gonna be better than the original, and I do think it's going to score 78.
78. All right, Mr. Worthy.
I had 78 down also, but
You can
didn't I
still do
pick up
78.
didn't I pick up a Warhammer last year in Fantasy Critic?
yeah, you picked up Total War.
Total War.
And Total War, I
That
think
one-
I got
85,
close to
I think.
80. Yeah, 85. Yeah.
Yeah, very
It
different
shocked,
game.
It shocked all of us.
Oh, is
It
it with
is.
Dark Tide?
No, he's
Oh,
talking
was that
about
something
the strategy game,
Oh, yeah.
Total War
Yeah.
Warhammer.
So I'm just gonna stick with 78. I think it'd be good. It might hit low 80s maybe, but I don't think
Right.
above that.
You said 78.
Yeah, 78.
All right, after us, the next game. Who the hell? This is DJ. I know
Yep.
absolutely nothing about this game, so whatever you predict is what I'm also going to predict.
I don't know. I watched the trailer and some of the gameplay footage. I'm not entirely sold on this one. I do think it's going to score decent. I'm going to go with a 77 on this. I think it could go higher, but it also could go lower. It's one I kind of took with the hopes that it outperforms what I think it could do.
Sorry. What'd you say?
77.
Sorry, I'm trying to cancel my pre-order for Dead Space. I'm having fucking difficulty. So, all right. I'm just gonna fucking say whatever and listen to fantasy critics here. So I'm gonna say 72 because I didn't look anything up about this game. I know nothing about this game. So hopefully this site knows what it's talking about. Logan.
74. Yeah.
Yeah, 74. Yeah. All right. Worthy.
I'm gonna go with 76.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure none of us knew what this game was. So,
Dude, I looked it
No.
up and I'm like, I don't know anything about this at all.
all right. Well, that was quick, easy. Let's go. Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the second overall game picked in this year's fantasy draft. Mr. Logan, you say it's difficult, but you get first pick.
Yeah, I know. I really, obviously, since it's the first pick, I want it to score very high. I think they've learned a lot. They had a very amazing game that blew everyone out of the water the first time it came out. I think, and this is going to be balls to the wall, I think it's going to reach the 90s. And I'm going to say 90. Exact 90.
I mean, I hope for you, Nick Frank, and Fantasy Critics, and I just hope for me because I want this game to be absolutely incredible. We usually don't see that big of a jump in terms of how the game is scored historically with a sequel. Usually the original game, usually it doesn't beat out by too much the original game. Especially now when the original game is so well done. Some of the examples where the second one came out and just completely destroyed the original was like Assassin's Creed, the original Uncharted, and that's just because they were like massive leaps forward in what the game was. I don't see this being a massive leap forward. I think it's going to be a better game, and I'm going to enjoy it just as much, if not more. But score-wise, I don't know. I'll Price is Right you and say 89. I don't think it's going to hit the 90s. I don't think we see that many 90 games this year. But DJ.
Man.
By the way, apparently I just realized I never actually hit purchase when I was pre-ordering, so
I'm gonna go. Man, I'm gonna same board as you. I think it's only gonna do an 89. I think it has the potential to go over hit 90 or 91, but I think it's gonna fall just short of that and only boast the 89.
all right, Mr. Worthy Morgan.
I think it does ink into the 90s a little bit. I'm gonna go 91.
Oh, there you go. Well, that would be great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah.
I
It's
like
better than
that.
what I had written. What I had written down was a 97 originally.
Holy
Scoring.
shit!
But
That'd be amazing.
Dude,
But
that'd
I'm
be
going
the
with
Greatest
91.
greatest game of all time. That'd
Dude,
be awesome.
such a huge jump. Like that would be some
Yeah.
game history stuff right there.
I think it scores pretty well with Legend of Zelda and fights it for Game of the Year.
Let's hope so.
I agree with that.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
All right, Liza P. Sticking with Logan here.
It's a me. I think this is gonna get an 87.
Damn. Super hopeful.
I think this is going to reach a really big community. Nothing about this game looks bad. It looks fantastic. It looks very just in every single way, just absolutely amazing. The art style, fantastic. The music that they're using, fantastic. It's got that Bloodborne itch for a lot of people. And a lot of people, with Bloodborne being stuck to PlayStation, this is going to be kind of the Bloodborne for everyone. I'm going to be playing this day one for sure because it's coming to Game Pass. So I'll be playing that as well. Yeah, I think it's going to score very well. I don't think it's obviously going to get the 90s. I'm not that crazy about it, but I do think it's going to score in the high 80s. I do think this game is going to be very good, and it's going to be up there with a very one of the surprising games of this year, where people are going to absolutely love it.
All right. I'm not going that high. I do think it looks really good. I think it's still gonna sit in that realm of kind of like it feels like an imitation as opposed to something wholly new. I'm gonna say 79 is where I'm sitting at. I think it looks really cool and really interesting, and the vibe it feels really nice. But these games are scored mostly off how they play and how like the bosses are designed and enemies are designed, and I haven't seen enough of that yet.
Should probably
So,
watch the new trailer because they have a boss battle in it.
but just because it looks cool doesn't mean it plays good.
That's fair.
That's fair. I could very well be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I know a lot of people are excited about this game, but I don't know. I'm just gonna sit
I
at
mean,
a
it could be a
79.
Callisto Protocol. Who knows?
I was like, Close
I'm not
Protocol
hoping
looked
that.
great. So,
Yeah.
all right, DJ.
I'm gonna go with an 81.
Reasonings.
I don't know if it's gonna go quite as crazy as Logan had. Well, I mean that's not crazy, but I don't know if it's gonna do quite that well. I think it's gonna do a little bit better than what you're saying, but I think between you and me is the real range on this one. It might surprise us, and it also might just shit the bed. So we'll have to see.
I mean, to give you an idea, Bloodborne made in '91. I know it's not made by the same developer, but I'm not even going to the highball Bloodborne.
Worthy. I know you were talking to someone on the phone. You still with us?
Well, I wasn't talking to anybody on the phone.
Oh.
But I'm gonna go with 78.
Damn.
78. All right. Well, it's just because it's an unknown quantity. Like, we just don't know.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, just no clue. All right, sticking with Logan. Hades 2. What do you got?
I do think this is going to be another very high up there game, but it is a sequel, and as sequels go, it's very difficult to beat the first one. Let's see.
94. That's what it got.
Damn. That's gonna be really hard to get to there. That's wow. 91.
All right. I'm sitting right in your range, so I'm not Price is Righting you. I mean, I am, but I had this in my head beforehand. I'm gonna say 90. I think Supergiant makes phenomenal games. I think people are super excited about this. They redefined what the genre can be, in terms of like oh my god, why can't I think of it? The roguelite. There we go. So I think it's going to be another great effort. Don't think it reaches as high because the first one kind of took everybody by surprise. But yeah, I'm going to stick at 90. I think Logan's kind of right in the ballpark. So DJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm also gonna do 90. I think it could do a little better, but I don't think it's gonna be quite as good as that first one. So I'm going 90.
Mr. Worthy.
I have no clue about any of these games. This game, so
You should. It's really good.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't have a release date yet, officially. Just see if I can scoop up some points on this. I'm gonna go 88.
88. All right.
Below everybody.
All right. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Sticking with Logan. We're going on a run
Yeah.
here.
It's a me. Wow. Don't know anything about this. So let's look up the first game. That's because that's what I'm gonna do. That's gonna make things a little bit
88.
easier. Got an 88?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 88. I think it's gonna get in the same area. I don't think it's gonna do much more than what it's not even really a new game. It's just the next part of it. So I think it's gonna be a lot of what we already got. and that's it. I don't think it's going to do any more crazy than that. I think it's going to be the same thing because it basically is just a part 2. So,
well, yeah, but part 2, the second part of Final Fantasy VII is much different than the first part. The first part is very limited in scope to Midgar, the city, and the second part, if it follows along the original game story, opens the game up massively. So I think there's going to be a much larger, a much bigger game. I do think it's going to score better when it comes out, but when it comes out is going to be February of 2023. I think this game gets delayed out of this year. Our first new rule. So, for those of you who don't know, we instituted a new rule. If we believe a game is going to get delayed out of the year, we can predict that it'll get delayed, and if it does, we get a full bullseye. It doesn't matter when it comes out next year, as long as it doesn't come out this year. So I think this game is going to be fantastic. I'm through the roof excited for it. I just think they have a lot of work to go. They said this game's going to come out winter. And while they said that about Crisis Core is a much different beast than this one was. It's a much smaller scale. It was a remake in a way, but there's definitely not as much work going into this. And I just don't see them being able to push out this game 3 or so years after Final Fantasy VII. I think it comes out early 2023, so I'm going to say this game gets delayed out of this year. But when it comes out, it will be fantastic. DJ.
You know, this is one that when we talked about this the other night, this one and one or two other ones I was a little worried might get pushed. I'm tempted to agree with you and say it's going to get delayed out. I think I am. I think this one is going to get delayed and they're going to push it to early next year or middle of next year.
Worthy.
This is one of the 3 games I have questioned that would be released from my research, from looking at stuff. And I do think it gets delayed.
All right. Well, Logan, let's hope we're all wrong.
yeah.
All right, sticking with Logan again. We still got much more to come from him. So, Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl.
So this is a difficult one. First one I know didn't score very high at all. I'm sure you're all looking up the score right now. It was like 72, I believe. First one. I do think this one's gonna be much better. I do think after all these years they've done, from everything I've seen, everything, this looks like a very, very good looking game. Looks very fun. But with that, and with it still being Stalker, I don't think it's going to score in the high 80s. I think, if anything, it's going to score an 83.
I mean, that's right around what the original one scored. It's hard to know which one's the original because there's like a bunch of different ones with subtitles.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of different ones. So
Yeah.
there's like Stalker, something Chernobyl,
Shadow of
Stalker
Chernobyl.
Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, I think kind of right in the head. I'm going to price right you at 82, but I think the low 80s is a good point. I'm not excited about this game at all, but I know people who are. I think it looks really good, so
I'm pretty excited for it.
Hopefully they like it. So, DJ.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in playing this one. I don't know. This is a tough one. I think I'm also gonna go with an 82. I think it could go higher, it could go lower, but I think I'm thinking 82 also.
Mr. Worthy.
I don't think it scores too much different from the original. So I'm just going to go a little bit lower than you guys just to try to get some points. I'm going to go 77.
Oh, you said a little bit. Okay. Well,
yeah.
That's 5 points lower than us, so. But all right. 77, coming in the low end of it. I don't know if Logan's back or not, but we have another one of his games, The Wolf Among Us, coming out sometime this year. Those of you that know and listen to the show, you know that I love The Wolf Among Us. It is my favorite of the Telltale Games.
Sorry, guys. I'm back real quick.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to do The Wolf Among Us, so I'll
Yeah.
let you take it away.
Delayed.
Oh, you don't think it's coming out this year,
Yeah,
huh?
I want this to come out this year. We have heard nothing from it, and it only was announced last year, I believe, correct? For being in development. I want this game to come out really, really bad. Not only for my fantasy, but also just for me in general. I want to play it this year, but I feel like I was kind of wrong on putting this on my thing, and I do think this is going to be delayed to next year.
Okay. Well, I think it hits this year. I think it comes in later this year. I think I don't know how it's gonna be scored, so I'm just gonna go right in line with what the first one was. I think the first one is criminally underrated in terms of score, but so I'm gonna say 80. I think this game does come out. So, DJ.
Yeah, I seen that's roughly about what the first one got, and it does seem from all the reviews I'm seeing, it does seem kind of underrated. I'm gonna go 81.
Worthy.
I have 80 down also. I think it does hit.
All right. So Logan's out on a limb there with his delayed prediction. Sticking with the Birdman himself, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, the sequel, the long-awaited sequel to a very good game in Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. So what do you think, DJ? Logan?
You're good. Well, this is a difficult one again. I have never played the first one. I've heard nothing but good things about the first one. It looks like they're really, really doing some crazy stuff. I mean, the game looks very, very unreal. Haha. I think it's made on the Unreal Engine, isn't it? But I don't think it's gonna. I don't know how much more it's gonna score than the last one. So I'm gonna say it is gonna be better. It is going to score higher, and I think they have a bigger budget. So I'm gonna go crazy and say 86.
All right. I don't think it's gonna be as good as the first one. I think they're gonna go too big with it. I think the first one was so good because it was so contained. It was so short. It was so driven by its narrative and its characters. That's the reason I loved it. I think this game's been in development for a long time. I think they're trying to do a lot with this game, and I think in the end, it's going to take a little bit away from why people love the first one so much with its focus and its containment. So I'm going to go an 82 with this one. I think it comes in a little lower than the original. It's not quite as good. I think they kind of try to do too much with this just because it's been in development for so long. Like, what the hell could they been doing? The first game took like 2 years to develop, and this one's the sequel's going on 5 years now. So I don't know what they could be doing over there or what they could be working on, but I think they might try to go a little bit too much and get away from what made the first game so special. DJ.
I'm going 83. Just kind of split the difference between you guys. I don't know much about this one. But yeah, I'm going 83.
And finally, Mr. Worthy.
Well, I think this one gets delayed.
I delayed again. Oh my god, this game gets delayed again. Jesus.
I would be pretty upset myself because, like, dude, this game has been they showed off the gameplay 2 years ago. Like, just come out with the game. It better not be delayed again. I'll be put out.
No, they showed this is the first game they showed for Xbox Series X and S.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
like
3 years ago.
It should be. Yeah. So yeah, damn. Yeah, that's crazy. It better release this year because, like, come on, where's it been?
Yeah, I don't know.
It'll get pushed next year.
I don't know what they're doing. I think they're trying a little too hard. But I hope I'm wrong because I really did enjoy the first one. And I want to enjoy the second one. So, Metal Slug Tactics. I just realized after I wrote all these in release date, I just went in order of like people's lists. So that's why you're
So
getting
it's
so many.
me.
So yeah, Metal Slug Tactics.
All right.
Ow.
So I know a little bit about this game, and I know that it's made by a very. They made some really good games in the past. I think it's going to score an 82.
All right. 82. I mean, I know what Metal Slug is. This is definitely a different game than like the original Metal Slug. I don't really have a leg to stand on here, so I'm just gonna say I'm bouncing around between 76 and 78, so I'm just gonna say 77 just to balance myself out. Not really a reasoning behind that, just kind of an overall feeling for it. So, DJ.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Again, I'm gonna try to split you guys. I'm gonna go 79.
All right. So, too Worthy now. Sorry. Worthy. Forza Motorsport for the Xbox Series
I
X and S.
Metal Slug Tactic. I choose
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. My bad. 70.
76.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
I was like, are you going to let him give a review out
Sorry,
there?
I'm just fucking. I'm losing my brain
Jeez,
cells.
Mike.
So you said 76?
Yeah,
All right.
76.
I'm sorry, I'm losing my brain cells, guys. All right. Forza Motorsport for the Xbox Series X and S. I don't know why they post it like that. Is it not coming to Series S? It has to be, right?
Well, yes, clearly it's
Okay.
going to Series S. I
Well,
don't know why
yeah.
they put.
I sure hope so.
All right. So Forza Motorsport, what are you thinking, Worthy?
85. Just get a
85.
good, decent score.
I believe that's on the low end of Forza games, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Forza's. Well, hold on, let me check. Forza
5,
Motorsport.
I think, was 85 or 86, and I think 4 was roughly
Oh, no.
that too.
70. Yeah, Forza Motorsport 7 was 85. So I'm gonna go with old reliable 84. Logan
I'm going to go with 85.
85. DJ.
I am also gonna go 84.
I mean, not. I don't know how much I have to say. It's a racing game. I love Forza. I think it's gonna be great. I'm gonna play it when it comes out. But these games are what they are. So, all right. Hollow Knight Silksong, or a game that Worthy aped for me. It was my pick last year. Never came out. Hopefully it finally sees the light of day. Worthy, what are you thinking with this one?
I'll go. This. I'll go 89.
89. All right, I like it. It's sitting kind of right around my range. This game is adored. People love this game. Loved the first game. It's sitting at a 90 right now. I think it's been in development for a long time. Like I said, we're moving into its 6th year in development now, or I guess 6 years since the first one came out. So don't know really what to do with that. Again, sometimes I think people go too big, so I'm gonna go a couple points below. Technically, I'm Price is Righting you, but not for the sake of Price is Right, just for the sake of what I think. So I'm gonna say 88. Logan.
I'm going to say the exact same score, 88.
All right, DJ, rolling through these.
87.
87. All right, rolling through these real quick. Sticking with Worthy, although this is a DJ game. Pikmin
Yes.
4.
Sniped.
I'm gonna go with 86.
86. Hold on, I'm trying to actually do some research on this because I have no fucking clue.
I played the
Deluxe got
first one, but that's about
85.
it.
I think they've all been mid 80s. Pikmin 1 and 2 might have actually been closer to 90.
Yeah, Pikmin 3, 87. I don't really know, man. I don't. Pikmin 2 wasn't a 90. Well, apparently these games score very well, so I'll trust the process. I'm gonna say just because it's been so long since. Oh, I got some noises coming. Just because it's been so long since the last game came out. By the time, if this game does come out this year, it'll be 10 years since Pikmin 3 launched. So I'm going to say 85. I'm a Price is Right here, Worthy. Logan.
85.
All right, and
87.
I was gonna say the self-proclaimed Pikmin fan himself. Where you going?
87. Yep.
All right, and now I think one of the more interesting games coming out this year. Don't really know where this is gonna sit, but Assassin's Creed Mirage, the last hurrah for the Assassin's Creed franchise in my personal eyes. Where are you sitting with this, Worthy? I mean, can you quit making fucking noises over there?
Which one? Me?
No, DJ. Hear him slamming on shit.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'm
Worthy.
gonna say this game brings it back to being good. I'm going 87.
Damn. All right.
That's some wild numbers right there.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think this game
I have
does.
hopes.
Yeah, I have high hopes for it too. It's probably, well, definitely misplaced hopes based off who is making it and all that. But the Assassin's Creed games do score very well. Critics really love these games. I mean, Valhalla got an 83, which I think is criminally overrated. But
very much overrated.
So me personally, I have high hopes for this game. But I think there's been enough thought provokingness of the Assassin's Creed franchise and where it is that I don't think it's gonna score 87 at all. I'm gonna say 82 is where my prediction lies. I think I said this is my last hurrah. This is my last hope for this franchise. If this isn't what they say it is, if it's not what I want it to be, I have to really look inside myself and decide if I want to spend the money on these games anymore. I've purchased every single Assassin's Creed game to ever come out, outside of the PS Vita game. But that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna say 82. Logan.
83.
Let me
I
guess.
think they're gonna make some changes and maybe, but you just gotta remember this too. This game isn't gonna look very beautiful because it's running on the exact same engine as Valhalla. It practically, literally is a DLC, but then they, instead of making it a DLC, they made it its own game. I don't think it's gonna be much better or even worse than what Valhalla was, but they probably will add some more fan favorite stuff where it's going to be probably more stealthy, bring that stealth back and everything. But I just don't think it's going to do that great. I think it's going to do just where it needs to be. I mean, heck, if Valhalla gets an 83, it's probably going to get an 83 as well.
All right, DJ, the other Assassin's Creed lover here on the XP podcast. What are you thinking, man?
And it does a little bit. I'm gonna go 84. I'm hoping it's a return to form, but I'm kind of in your same boat at this point. I don't even know what to think with this series anymore.
Yeah. I just get sad when I think about it anymore. So, all right, the Lords of the Fallen. Worthy to you, sir.
I'm really hoping this game comes out this year. I think if it does, it does score to mid 80s, but I'm gonna shoot it a little low. I'm gonna go 82.
All right. I think this game is being sent out to die. The original one wasn't liked. For reference, it's sitting at a 69 on OpenCritic. I think it's been a long time since that game came out. There's been a lot of great Dark Souls clones, quote unquote, that have come out. I don't honestly have a lot of faith in this game. I'm looking up right now who is developing this game.
It's a different developer than the original.
It's being developed by some fucking team called Timo Treffy. I have no fucking clue who they are. I think this one kind of lands with a thud. I'm going to give it the exact same score as the first game and the greatest number in mankind, 69.
Good one.
Nice.
Mr.
I
Logan.
think it's going to be a 71.
71. Reasoning?
I obviously think since it's a different team, maybe they'll make it, decent, maybe just good. Nothing crazy because the first one, the whole stick behind it was a triple A at the time because like I don't think Dark Souls was known as triple A at its time. There was the first like technical triple A Dark Souls game where they put a ton of money into it and then it ended up being absolutely dog shit. So this one's being made by a different team. I don't know much about the team, but I'm gonna give them a little bit of hope. But I don't think it's gonna get any higher than the low 70s.
All right. DJ.
Man, I try to pick this one up because there seemed to be a little bit of hype behind it, but not a lot. I'm gonna go 70.
All right. By the way, this game is so fucking difficult because of its stupid naming scheme. Every time I try to look it up, it just reverts back to the original game. So I finally found the developer. It is called Hexworks Games, which I can also not really find anything that they've done on. So,
Sniper contracts.
well, no, that's the publisher. If you click on the thing, yeah,
Oh.
CI Games is the publisher.
Okay.
So like I said, I have no clue who this team is. Maybe they have some special talent over there. Let's hope. So, all right, The Plucky Squire, a game Worthy picked up on bids. What are you thinking, man, on this?
I think 78.
78. Okay. Why? Saying that I know nothing about this game would be an overestimate of how much I know about this game. So I'll just price it right to you and say 77 because I don't know anything. The website says it's projected to have 7 points. Sure. Hope this thing knows what it's talking about because I didn't get a chance to look anything up on this. It looks like that kind of cute, lovable game that scores in the mid 70s. So I'll try to price it right to you and get 1 more point. So Logan.
I'll price is right you and say 76.
All right, DJ. You sure it's right you in for 75 or what's up?
I actually did a lot of research. This was one of the ones that came out during that big episode we did of all the different showcases in the middle of the year last year. This is one I kind of kept my eye on. I'm actually going 79.
All right, 79. So Price is Right the other way. All right. And then we finally get to my list. Number 1 on my list that we're predicting, Starfield. And I don't know. I really don't know with this, Logan.
I don't even know. I love a lot of their games. I really enjoy them. It's more like it. Too tough.
Yeah,
Well,
hold
it's
on.
you, so it's all you. So
Yeah, I'm fucking looking at shit. Because I do think this is a return to form in a way to what they were able to bring forth with Skyrim.
I mean, to give you anything, Fallout 4, which is known as one of the worst of their RPG, not Fallout 76. We're never going to call it Fallout 76. Fallout 76 was a garbage, dumb project. We're talking about their actual RPGs. The worst one, supposedly, is Fallout 4, and that got an 88.
Yeah,
So
I know. It got an 88. Skyrim has a 94. I mean, I've said this is my sleeper pick for Game of the Year because I feel like there's something special here, so I can't, in good conscience, predict low here.
I think I know what I'm going to pick. So
I'm going to stick with my guns. If this is a return to form, then we're going to get something truly special with this game, which I'd be so excited for it if it is. I'm going to say 89. That's where I'm going to sit at.
damn. Gonna say 89 as well because I was gonna say 90, but man, it is so hard to get a 90, and I feel like there's just gonna be that one problem that is going to bring it down, and I don't know. Like, there's going to be some technical problem, and it's going to bring it down. So I think 89 is pretty reasonable. I hope it gets a 90.
Me
Because
too.
honestly, it's pretty insane what they're making here. It's a lot bigger than any of them. So it's kind of a big project. They have a lot weighing on them, but it could be a 90. It really could.
All right, DJ.
90. I have the faith it's gonna get there.
I think it might.
Like I
Honestly,
said,
you might be right.
I hope so, man. I really, really hope so. So finally, Mr. Worthy Morgan.
Well, I'm gonna go 86.
Okay, a little bit lower.
Damn.
A little bit lower.
Worse than Fallout 4.
I mean, look, I think Fallout 4 is a fine game. I just don't really like the Fallout games, and I expect
Yeah.
more from Bethesda. So,
I
all right.
like Fallout 4, but I know that a lot of people don't like it, which is fair. So
Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. I've thought a lot about this. This is my riskiest pick I took during the Fantasy Critics. Like I said on there, if it comes out, it's going to score very, very well. But I am going to say it gets delayed, and it'll come out in 2024. I just don't think it's going to hit. I picked it for the chance. If it does, I'm going to get a lot of points from this. But
I'm going to say delayed as well.
yeah, I just don't think they can hit it. So, DJ.
Yeah, this is one, again, tempted to give it a number, but I also think it's getting delayed. Because this is this who did Elden Ring last year? Because they
Yeah.
just did a massive game, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I
Ring.
mean they just
Okay.
finished Elden Ring
Yeah.
last year, and I just don't think they could make a huge project like this.
Especially because they're
Within-
not fully done with Elden Ring. Like, there's still stuff they plan on doing for it, I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I think they're still working on a big DLC, which
Yeah, so I
hope
I
that
don't
comes
think this
out.
comes out unless they were able to split their team into two
I mean,
and have them.
we know they've been dumping a lot of money in that. PlayStation and unfortunately, Tencent have both dumped a lot of money in that studio. Armored Core is a much smaller in scope game, much smaller than Elden Ring was. It is more of a level based game, at least historically, than what Elden Ring was. But
I think it's still gonna be tough to pull off.
yeah, I just don't know if they're gonna hit it. It says if it hits, great for me. I know it's gonna score pretty freaking high. But in good conscience, I just don't think it's going to. Let's hope it does. So, all right, Worthy.
Well, I actually thought it might get released, but with everybody saying delayed, I'm just gonna go with delayed.
Well, hey, I mean, if you put a number on it, you're the only one guaranteed to get points if it comes out, or at least have a chance to get points.
Hmm.
So if you think it's coming out, man, be bold, be the one.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put a number on it, 86.
All right.
Because if it does get released, I'll do that.
Yeah. If it does get released, it's gonna go good. All right. My final game that we're predicting, Sea of Stars. I'm very excited about this game. I am salivating for this game. I can't wait. Coming from the developer of The Messenger, which got an 86, this is a more Final Fantasy inspired game in the same kind of style of it. Everything I've seen from this game looks fantastic. I think it goes 1 point higher than The Messenger just based on style and substance alone. I'm going to say 87 on this one. Logan. Or not. DJ.
I mean, I'll jump in. This is one that I was trying to wait for Armor Core and Sea of Stars to be like my final round, and then I believe you snatched both on me. I'm also hyped on Sea of Stars. I'm gonna go, man. I'm gonna go 86 and be that guy.
No, yeah, it's fine. I love that guy. All right, Worthy.
I'll go 84.
84. Old reliable. So Logan's not back yet, so I don't really know what to do here. I guess we can just move on to the next one, and he can kind of catch up. So, DJ, this is your game that you snagged on waivers. Redfall, a game I picked last year, unfortunately did not come out. Will come out this year, or at least should come out this year. So, what are you thinking on Redfall? Well, apparently I'm just by myself, so I just
Well,
all right, Worthy, what are you thinking on Redfall?
Oh, sorry. I had my mic muted still.
Okay, you're fine. I was like, apparently I'm just fucking talking to myself. So.
I don't remember a lot about this one. I know you were hyped. I kind of got hyped for it.
Oh.
I don't remember.
I'm
Not hyped,
Yeah.
but you're
auspiciously entertained by the idea.
yeah. Man, I'm gonna go 80. I could be way off. I could be right around where it should be, but yeah, I'm going 80.
All right, Worthy.
I'm gonna go with 75.
Damn. All right. A little low there, huh?
It's. I don't know honestly too much about it. It'd be one. I think it'd just be one of those games that scores mid points.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna predict here mostly on who is creating it and who's making it. I think the last game was wildly overrated. With oh my god, what's it called? Logan predicts Steel Stars 86. I don't know what's going on with his mic or what's happening, but Logan, are you there? No, he's not there. He's gone, folks. All right, he's gone to the ether. So Redfall, I'm gonna say 82, mostly on who's creating it and who's working on it. So they're talented over there at Arcane. They make really good games. I just don't know how great this one's gonna be. So, Logan, are you back with us or not? No. Okay. Well, we're gonna go on to DJ's pick for Game of the Year. Our final prediction this year: Skull and Bones.
Delayed.
You don't think it's coming out?
No, it already got pushed back once from within the next it was supposed to I think the original was pushed back to March, and I believe it got pushed back again already. So I don't know. I think maybe it will come out this year. Who knows? Like I said in the other predictions, I think if this doesn't come out or if this just falls flat, I think this causes Ubisoft to get bought out by someone else, and they're just going to clean house because between the lack of, I mean, yes, like we said, Assassin's Creed has been scoring good critically, but not fan wise. So I think it's just this might end up being the death of Ubisoft.
I mean, when you made the prediction, I called you crazy, but in the story we're not going to be able to talk about, I think you may be getting closer to being right, but maybe we can have you on next week and we can talk about that story in depth more. I'm going to go ahead and say this game does come out this year. It is not fantastic, but I mean, they came out last week with a new gameplay walkthrough, and it looks whatever. I'm going to say 72, just being kind. I'm probably way off base with it, but I think it does come out this year. I think it underwhelms dramatically from what people want it to be, but I think it still scores okay. Worthy.
I don't think I think it's delayed. I really don't think it happens still. If it does, it'll score. I would say probably 65.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be really good. I'm going a little high just because I think there's some baseline level of quality and enjoyment that people will find in it. But, all right. After a long discussion, that brings us to the end of our predictions. I don't know what happened to Logan, he fell into the toilet, I guess. So we'll find out what happened to him later. But we're gonna go on now to the end of the show. Now we're gonna go to out this week. Let you know some of the games that are coming out this week. Pretty big week. On January 24th, Forspoken finally sees its release on PS5 and PC. Risen on PS4, Xbox One, PC. World War Z on PS5 and Xbox Series X. On January 26th, the re-release and compilation of all the Hitman games comes out with the title Hitman World of Assassinations. Then on January 27th, wrapping up the week game we are all very excited for here at the XP Podcast, Dead Space Remake finally sees its release worldwide. So I know Worthy is definitely playing Dead Space. Anything that you guys are going to check out? Obviously, we're going to be watching Forspoken. The reviews go live tomorrow as of the time of we are sitting down and recording this. So what are you guys looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to Dead Space Remake. That'll tie me over until the Destiny expansion comes, which I haven't touched Destiny because I'm just waiting on the expansion.
I'm excited to see how Dead Space does. Like we kind of talked about, I'm going to be very limited and have to be very picky, choosy about what I play this year. There are quite a few games I want to play, but like most of these are going to end up in back catalog, and hopefully I can get to them eventually. But Dead Space, I'm hyped. I never played them. Worthy always talked them up. I'm pretty sure you talked them up to me too in college.
I always talk about they're great.
Yeah, I think Mike got me on it originally.
I definitely want to sit down and play them. I'm interested to see if Forspoken is good. It might be one I pick up after a price drop, which I think will inevitably happen. But yeah, I'm really psyched for Dead Space.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our show. Everyone who is either watching or listening, we just want to take this time, as always, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your support, we could not be doing what we're attempting to do here at the XP Podcast. But please help us to continue to grow by telling everyone out there that you know who even has the slightest appreciation for all things pop culture, that they have some new friends waiting to talk all sorts of fandoms with them. We would greatly appreciate it. Gentlemen, any last words?
Since he's not here to do it, I'll thank the platinum member for you, Logan Leffler, I believe. Just from hearing it every single episode. Like I said, you don't gotta, spend the money to support us. We obviously appreciate it. And I look forward to coming back to talk again, and hopefully a heated fantasy battle this year, which it looks like it's shaping up to be with some heavy hitters from all of us.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Worthy, what do you got?
I don't have anything too much. I've been sitting here this whole episode. I have Fantasy Critic pulled up, and I've been sitting here looking, see which one I want to counter pick.
Oh, you're gonna try
which one?
You're gonna drop a counter pick already. You can drop a counter pick whenever you want in the next 12 months. So.
Oh, I know. I'm just thinking, but you can't do it after the game's been released, right?
No, you have to do it before. So.
And once you do it, that guy's locked into that game, right?
Yeah. So you're gonna pick Armored Core on me?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. This has been another episode of the XP Podcast brought to you by all of us here at the Experience Point. I hope everyone has a great week. And as always, we'll talk to you on the next one. See you guys.
Yep.